Chamberlain Rampers. Hi, Chamberlain Rampers. Hi, Chamber Pampers. Hello, everybody. Hey. Are there any rabbits in the house today? Maybe a couple rabbits, maybe a few, or not. Let me know in the comments below how many rabbits are here in the house right now. Why can't I hear things very well right now? What's wrong with my volume? Maybe I'm just deaf. I think I'm just deaf, actually. Please ignore what I've been saying. Is the BGM lower than usual, or am I deaf? Let me know in the comments below if the volume's normal or if I'm deaf, okay? You're here? Oh, well, we know now that all the rabbits are here in the house. It's normal? Oh, God, okay. Giggles deaf, Giggles deaf, Giggles is deaf, Giggles is deaf. Well, hello, everyone. I missed you guys a lot. I wasn't streaming yesterday, but I'm streaming today. I'm streaming today in Rabbitville right now. I was a little busy yesterday, but today I'm feeling very humble and I have my ears back. Thank God. I put them in the washing machine and then I just popped them out. You know, I put them on the clothesline to dry with two little pegs. And then once they were all dry and fluffy again, I put them back in my head. So actually, if my ears seem more fluffy than normal, you can give them a touch just to check if you'd like. But just be gentle. Yeah, it's because I had them in the washing machine for a little bit. Yeah, I just had to give them a little wash. I'm sorry that you saw me at that moment when I had them in the washing machine. Good thing I adapted and pretended I turned into a cow, you know, instead. Can you give them a sniff? No, you can't sniff my ears, okay? I said you can touch them just for a moment to see if they're a little bit more soft, but you can't smell them, okay? Because that's a bit too far, okay? Has anyone tried to wiggle their ears before? Well, you need to be careful if you try to wiggle your ears, because if you wiggle them too quick, then you could fly away, like I do. So, you need to be really careful if you've ever tried in your life, okay? Yeah. But I don't know, you know, well, they kind of smell like, washing machine liquid or whatever. The stuff that they put in the washing machine, that's what it smells like right now. If you're wondering, that's what my ears smell like. You know, a good humble way to actually dry your socks is to put the socks over my ears. Is a good way to dry them, because my ears, us rabbits, our ears emit heat. So if you put socks over our ears, then you could clean them 3 times faster than air drying. Yep. I must discover what detergent you use. Well, I just use the one for the cheapest in Rabbitville. I'd say that's the one I use. Because I don't need anything fancy. I'm not about all that fancy stuff, so I just get the cheap one or whatever, and I put a lot in. Yeah, maybe I put a little bit too much detergent in, but you know, that's okay. Yeah. Alright, sniffle, sniffle, sniffle. Yes. If you really want to dry them faster, get a really angry and hot steam will come out of her ears. Well, yes, that's a little hack that you might not know about, but you guys shouldn't make me upset, okay? You shouldn't upset a rabbit just to get steam coming out of her ears, you know, for your steam needs. That's a bit rude, but you know, if you want, you can't pull on them. What are you even talking about? No, that will hurt. That will hurt, okay? They're still my ears. You can't just pull on them. Also, I'm sorry about the start of the stream. I got an ad for I think it was like a no drinking ad, and it said your body. It was talking about my body. So if you heard a woman at the beginning like solemnly saying your butt, that was a no drinking ad. If you were wondering, that's what it was. And then later on, I'm like, oh shit, like I need the link to the stream. So I went into the stream, but then my sound was on, so it just went burr, 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 burr. I definitely thought it said your butt. No, it said your body. Yeah, but it like I cut it off. Yeah, I thought that was you saying something into the mic. No, I don't sound like that lady. That lady sounds like grumpy and serious and stuff. I don't sound like her. No, not at all. Yeah, you cut off your butt? No, I said like I cut it off before it could say like your body or whatever. Wait, just give me a second. I need to put my little headset on properly, because it's not comfy. Not very comfortable right now. Okay. There we go. That's better. Okay. How was your humble pie? Oh yeah, I should show you guys. I posted this on Twitter yesterday, but for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, I'll show you. Just give me a sec, okay? I did some cooking and I made a pie. It's a humble pie. I think I did a pretty good job. I did the pastry, and then I'll show you. Hang on. I made a humble pie, okay? I made a humble pie. It had potato, carrot, pumpkin, sweet potato, I can't remember what else. But it was really yummy. It was really good. And I put little stars on top. Because I got too much pastry. And then I had like pastry left at the end. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do with it. So I made it into little stars. Yeah, and I mean, it's not perfect, but I did do it with a knife. So I mean, it was good, better than nothing. And I think it looked pretty good. And it was really yummy. It was really good. It was tasty as pie, if you will. Yeah, it was really yummy. And I had the corner piece. You see that corner piece? That left corner? Yeah, I had that one. The good corner piece. That one was for me. And it was really yummy. So, yeah, and it tasted really good. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I made it all by myself. Except for Papa Pyon helped me peel like a carrot or two. But that's just because I wanted lots of carrots in it. And I was like, oh, my hands are so tired from like peeling. I don't know. So he helped just for a moment. But besides from that, I did most of it. Yeah. Did you have a recipe or did you make it up? I made it up all by myself. I saw we had veggies in the fridge and I was like, maybe I'll make something. I don't know. I got home and I was like, I don't know. I felt like making something. I was like so bored. I went to the doctor yesterday. And I was sitting there like so bored. I'd sit there because they were doing a test that needed me to sit there for ages. I was just kind of like sitting there for a long time. I was so bored. By the way, if you want to know how that went, I think it went okay. I don't have the results yet. I think she said I'm gonna get the results in a few days, but this one takes like a little bit longer to like look at everything. So yeah, I think she said a few days. But it went okay or whatever. Yeah, because like by the time I was finished anyway, like they were closing, so they're like, we gotta close. Yeah, and I need to get more blood drawn for another thing, because I didn't get everything done. Like literally she's like, oh, you need like all the blood for the blood test, and I was like, okay. So I got everything for the blood test, and she's like, when I came in yesterday, she's like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention you need this tested too. And I was like, oh okay. So I needed to get another blood test. And then as like when I was finishing my appointment, I'm like, okay, I went to get a number for the blood test, and while I was getting the number, the receptionist was like, oh, they've gone home. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I have to go in probably sometime this week. I don't know, because I'm like streaming all week, so I don't know, maybe the week after. I don't know, I can't be fucking bothered. I don't want to have to keep going back and forth. It's so annoying. They're making me go back and forth, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go again sometime this week, I think. So I'll find a time to go, I guess. I don't know. Not that I really want to. Yeah, just having to go back and forth, and it's like, oh my god, I hate having to do that. Blood for the blood test, skull for the skull test. Well, the thing is, like, they have like the different things of blood, like tested for different things, I guess. Like it's on the, I don't know, she messed some things up on the prescription or whatever. And I told her about like the problems that I've been having, like other physical issues, because I have. And she said if we get like, she said dependent on the results from the blood test, it could be multiple different things. So we'll kind of just see how that goes, and then if it doesn't show anything, then we'll look more into it and stuff. Yeah. So I don't know, I didn't really get many answers, which I'm kind of disappointed, because I was hoping that she'd maybe like give me some answers on why I've been feeling so shit. But she's like, yeah, we're gonna have to wait till all the results come back, until like I make some kind of definitive answer, because it could be a lot of different things. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, there was a lot of sitting and a lot of waiting, but besides from that, it was fine. There was a crying baby in the waiting room for like 30 minutes. No, and you know what? It wasn't like a cute crying baby. It was like more... Okay, I said that wrong. It was like a little shit child. So not like a cute baby, like a little shit. And he like kept staring at me. I'm like, why are you staring at me? Like, stop staring at me. Like, there was like lots of different people in the waiting room. And he decided to stare at me. I was just sitting there. I was minding my own business. And I didn't tell them to shut up. They just kept running, like, they kept going like back and forth. Like pacing and then running. And then like, oh my god. And the mother was just sitting there on her phone. And I'm like, fuck it, control your fucking kid. He's like running around like an idiot. Maybe they were a champy. No, I don't think that little child was a champy, okay? Yeah, maybe you wanted to pull on your ears. No, there's no one is allowed to pull on my ears, okay? Yeah. I hate it when they just ignore their own children like that. Yeah, I know, it's like... It's just so annoying. It was just so annoying. I'm like, can you just maybe tell them to quiet down? Because they had come in while I was in there already. So it's not like I had just come in and she had already told him to shut up. No, like they were running. They came in while I was already in there, and she didn't say anything to him. And you know what the saddest thing was? There was like this little girl. I think she was maybe about 2, and she was like, I don't know, I think she was sick, because she was at the doctor obviously, and she was just sitting there, and she was so like distressed by like the little kid like running back and forth. And she was just like clinging onto her mom, like obviously like upset by it, and it was so sad. It made me so sad, and she was being so good, and she wasn't crying or being silly or anything. She was just like being so patient and kind, and she was like, and it was like, oh no, you poor baby, and it made me so sad. Like I just wish I could have given her like an ice cream or something. I just felt so sad. I'm like, oh no, help. I don't know, that makes me so sad. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, like there's another kid in here. To shut your child up, to like not disturb the other children. That's what really bothered me. It was less so like them being annoying. It was like them disturbing the little girl. Poor girl. Yeah. Stop bothering the baby. The baby. Okay. Humble pie is your favorite? Really? Is it? You love humble pie. Okay. Is anyone else getting fucked around by YouTube slowdowns? Turn your ad block off. Turn your ad block off, and then you won't have to worry about YouTube slowing your shit down. Easy, simple as pie. They took all your blood. No. Did Mama Pyon give you hot dog? She was going to, but then I decided to make humble pie instead. So I actually didn't end up eating hot dog, but that was of my own choice. That wasn't Mama Pyon telling me I couldn't have hot dog. I might have hot dog tonight. You know how it is. It's not like hot dog is only on one night. You can have hot dog any day of the week. Even after hot dog day. Okay. Yeah. I had issues with it yesterday, and I'm not even using ad block. Wait, really? Oh my fucking god. That's so annoying. YouTube, like, stop. Please. Stop. I don't think I've had any problems. I think mine's been totally fine, but I don't know. Yeah. It's been scientifically proven that babies tend to look at what they think is the most beautiful, interesting, or eye-catching thing in the room. No, I don't know. I feel like I was just being... I don't know. Maybe it was because I was weird. I don't know. I don't think I'm weird, but... I don't know. That little girl looked at me though, and I smiled at her, and she smiled back at me, and it made me feel happy. I don't know why kids always tend to smile at me. I don't know, it makes me feel a bit like a creep, because I'm like, look at them, because I don't know how to smile at them. I don't know. Yeah, that means it's true. I don't know. You get looked at by kids a lot. I think it's because sometimes I wear graphic t-shirts with like if I'm not in my like dresses and stuff, like I'll wear graphic t-shirts with like I don't know, with like characters on them, or like writing on it, or like stuff like that. Like I have like sometimes like I've got like, I don't know, I've got a couple shirts with rabbits on them, or I've got some shirts with Kirby, like stuff like that. And I think kids just like that, like eye-catching, like kids kind of cartoony stuff, so they probably see me as more approachable. or something or whatever. I even remember when I was in high school. This is two funny stories in one, right? When I was in high school, people always thought every year that I was in my first year of high school, like I was like a freshman. Every time. So I'd have like, even when I was like, you know, in my final year, I remember like freshmen would come up to me and be like, hey, like, are you new here too? Like, what class do you have? Do you know like the way around and stuff? And I'm like, I've been here for years. What are you talking about? And like people in my year would say it to me too, and I'd be like, I've been in like 4 of your classes. Like, I've sat in front of you. Like, do you really not know who I am? Like, am I that irrelevant that you just think I'm a random freshman that's like showed up here for the first time? Do I look that fucking lost and stupid all the time? Huh? It was so annoying. It was so annoying. They didn't remember. I know, it was literally like that scene with Chia. Yeah, literally. But yeah, I'd have them come up to me a lot and be like, oh, like, you know, what's your class? Do you know the way to go? Like, especially on the first day, it was always the worst. And I remember when like, it would be in like, I think the middle of the year that, I think the people that were about to go into the school, like, had like an orientation where they were going to be like, you know, shown around and shown what to do and stuff. And they all had to, I remember they all had to like go into like some group to be shown around. And the people that were kind of going to show them around were always at the front gate, like trying to find them and like trying to like, you know, put them in that group so they don't like wander off into the school. So every fucking year they'd be like, hey, like you come stand over there. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like I'm literally in the school's uniform. Like, what do you mean? Or none of the, like, what, like, I'm in the uniform. What are you talking about? Like, these people didn't even have their uniforms yet. You think I showed up on my orientation in the uniform? Are you stupid? I don't know. It was like it was so funny. It was literally so funny every fucking time. and the best part is, like, sometimes these people had, like, well, not really. They'd, like, ask me to borrow a pencil or something. But they'd, like, talked to me before. You know, like a teeny little bit. And they were always like, you know, like, do you need help? And I'm like, I'm literally in your class. Like, it's so funny. I mean, it was hard because I was in a lot of different classes to the other kids, you know. I was in the advanced classes. So I wasn't with any of the commoner students. I was always in the I was with none of the plebeian students in the normal curriculum classes, you know. So I made me feel like, oh, you don't even know me because I'm in all the advanced classes. But then later on, I'm like, oh, it's just because I look like a fucking child. That's why. Yeah. One time in high school, I stood on top of my backpack during a break when everybody was hanging out in the hallways, and a random girl walked by to me and asked, "Are you a freshman?" I told her yes, and she said, "Well, you're one ugly freshman," and she ran away. What the fuck? Why would she? What the fuck? That's so horrible. Why would she say that to you? That's fucked up. For no reason to. I don't know. That was like some kind of hazing. I don't know if this is everywhere, but like with the freshmen. Yeah. Is she like a bully? I don't know. Sounds like it. I was so scared I was gonna get canned when I first started as a freshman, but nobody did that. I only knew like one kid who got canned, but he was obnoxious, and probably deserved it. I'm so glad nothing like that happened to me. It's probably because I was a girl. But like if I was a boy, like I would totally have been like, I don't know, all that high school like typical shit would have happened to me because I was a little bitch. I was a little shit. Yeah. Can you sing happy birthday to me? No. Actually, there's a lot of happy birthday AI sing songs on YouTube. You can look them up, okay? You can look them up. Getting bagged? Yeah, that sounds horrible. Don't stop me, me in a locker, please. Come on. Champy, if you were in my school, you wouldn't stuff me in a locker, would you? You would have a heart. You'd be the one to let me out, okay? I promise. I know you, Champy. I know you would be the one to let me out. I promise. Yeah. Champy's birthday is October 1st. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll never be happier that one day I graduated high school. I know, right? Like, it was like the happiest day ever. Like, everyone was like crying. It's so sad. It was like, haha, fuck you all. I'm never gonna see you again. Kiyomi, can I go to the dance with you? Would you have asked me to the dance? Oh my god. Oh my god. How many of you just didn't go? I just didn't go to my school dance. I never went. I never wanted to go. Or like field trips? Fuck no. No, I'm staying home. I don't want to do that. I don't care if it's the high school experience. I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking doing it. I kind of miss high school. I think what a lot of people miss is the routine of it and being able to see the same people every day. But really, I don't think you miss it. Do you miss your classes and the mean people and the bad stuff about it? Or are you idealizing the good parts of it? Because I will never miss it. I will never miss it. I don't miss the people. I'm happy they're gone. I don't like them. I don't like them. There was a couple of nice people, but nah, I don't miss anyone. Yeah, I never went to any of those things. I was so dumb with school. I didn't even go to graduation. Me neither. Me neither. I didn't go either. I didn't go either. Fuck that. You could. They just sent it. They just sent like the I guess a little piece of paper to your house anyway. So it's like, I don't know, I'm not going. I'm not going to that. Yeah. I didn't go to prom or anything, but my school had dances every couple of weeks in the rec room over the weekend that were basically just random 90s music in a dark room with kids milling around to keep them off the streets, and it was fun to hang out with my nerd friends. Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting, actually. Yeah, we only had like a... I think we had one every... I think in the last 3 years. I think in the last 3 years there was one each year. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe the last 2. I can't remember. Yeah, I had a girl ask me out to junior prom, and I was getting ready to rent a tux and everything, but then shortly before the event she told me she couldn't do it after all because her boyfriend was upset about it. So I didn't wind up going. That's fucked. What do you mean her boyfriend was upset? Why'd she ask you and not her boyfriend? What the fuck? Did she just ask you as friends to go? That sucks. That sucks really bad. Yeah. Early 90s, my dad had roller skating parties for schools. Oh, I got to go to so many of them. That was the only fun thing about schools. What? That sounds so cool. I want to do roller skating. That's so unfair. I have a tongue. See? Why do you keep saying I don't have a tongue? Oh my god. You in your penguin suit? I like a penguin suit. Yeah. She asked you out when she already had a boyfriend. What a whore. Yeah, what a whore. What the hell? Why would she do that? Why would she even do that to you? That's fucked up. Yeah, I don't know. I remember my sister had like 3 different guys asking her to the dance. Like, and it was like all on like consecutive days, and she was like, oh my god, I don't know which one to choose. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, which one? Like, who asked you first? Who do you want to go with the most? Like, I wish I had that problem of multiple people asking me to go. Ugh. I kind of like did all that stuff vicariously though through her. Like I helped her with her hair, I remember. And then I had an early night and I went to bed. I think I got pizza that night. I'm pretty sure. No, I remember I ate like 2 whole pizzas myself. Because I was angry. I wanted to eat 2 pizzas. Well, technically the other pizza was supposed to be like for my dad, but I just ate it instead. And I ate it in bed. I think I watched a movie. Yeah. I can't even remember what I did, but it was fun. Yeah, 2. Like, now I can't even eat a whole pizza. Yeah. Like, curiously, What? What do you mean vicuriously? No, vicariously. You know, you living through them in a way, you know, in a vicarious way. Not vicuriously, vicariously. Sorry, you're mishearing. Sorry. I think they are having a giggle. Oh, okay. That's spelling mistake? Oh. I went to my school dance, but only went with my friends. None of us dorks had any dates. I think that's probably the funnest thing to do. Yeah, that would have been fun, like, if I had a group of friends to go with or something. But, I don't know. I'd rather just schnaz that day. I just schnaz, yeah. I don't know, like, the whole, like, concept of school dances was always weird to me. Like, yeah, it's a fun way for people to do things, but I remember, like, kids were talking about wanting to, like, I don't know, like, do stuff, like, you know, afterwards. They were like, we're gonna, you know, after that, we're all gonna have, like, you know, everyone's gonna go, like, to my house or something, and, like, we're gonna do, you know, and it was weird. And no, you know, I remember they were gonna go, like, there was, like, a group of people that were gonna go, like, on, like, a road trip after or something. Yeah, it was weird. What scary tales do you have in store for us tonight? Well, I think the first scary tale I've already spoken about, which is high school and high school prom. That's the first scary story of the night. But okay, jokes aside, yeah, I'm gonna be talking a little bit about some things that I find a little bit interesting. I found this website actually that has all of the, I'll show you guys. It's called World of Tales. And on the left hand side, you don't need to read it. I'll be reading it, but I just want you guys to know what I'm looking at. I'll be talking about the Grimm brothers. They're two brothers that I think they're German, and they wrote a lot of fairy tales. They're actually based, well, actually some Disney movies and other things are based off of these stories. I think there's been plays, Disney movies, you know, like actual movies, books and stuff based on all of these. But they wrote books with like lots of different little tales in them, and yeah, interestingly, sometimes you know how they make scary versions of like classic, you know, fairy tales and stuff. These are like Disney actually made these fairy tales into like cute stories instead of like bad like stories, if that makes sense. So there's like a lot of stuff here that I'll be reading today, which will be fine. The little thing next to it just shows like this is book 1, this is book 3, this is book 1, this is book 2, this is book 1, this is book 3. Like these are all the same story, but they were put, some of them were put in multiple books, so that's why it just is got multiple in them. And then I'm also going to be reading, I've got a page here that talks a little bit about them that I'll probably read a bit first, because I'll be learning alongside with you guys, and hopefully we'll do some fun reading and do stuff together and whatever. Okay, let me just have some coffee. Okay, and I'm going to put some spooky music on actually, and let me know how the volume is, and then we'll do a bit of reading. Okay, let me just turn this down so I can get into a bit of a spooky ooky mood, okay? Ooh! Alright, let's schnaz. Hang on. Too spooky for me. Yeah. Some of these are pretty, like, short stories. But, you know, it'll be good. It'll be schnazzy, okay? Let me know how the volume is on this. It should turn on in a sec. Oh. Oh, thank you so much for being a member for 22 months. I have a poem, but it's not letting me post it. Can you post it on Pyon maybe? Perhaps? How's that volume, guys? It should be just some background music for everyone. Is it okay? Yeah, they seem to be pretty big stories. If it gets too loud, let me know, okay? Alright. And if it distracts you from the reading, let me know as well. But yeah, we'll be reading some really spooky stuff. Let's just have a little bit of coffee before we start. Okay, so I've got a page here that talks a little bit more about the Grimm brothers. Fun fact, there were 4 brothers in the Grimm family, only 2 were writers. Oh, I didn't actually know that. Yeah. Hey. Let's schnaz. Okay, let's read this. No, this is an article called How the Grimm brothers saved the fairy tale. Okay, so let's read this one, okay? 200 years ago, 2 young German librarians by the name of Jacob and Wilhelm, I think it's Wilhelm, sorry? Oh, wait, hang on, sorry. Thank you so much for the $304. Giggles McGrimm. Today call me Giggles McGrimm, okay? Thank you so much for the donation, I appreciate it a lot. Okay, let me start from the beginning. 200 years ago, 2 young German librarians by the names of Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm published a collection of tales that would become one of the most influential works of folklore in Germany, Europe, and eventually the world. By the way, all of these that I'll be reading are translated from the German versions into English. These are, I think, official translations, so you don't need to worry about that, okay? Between 1812 and 1857, 7 editions of their tales appeared, each one different from the last, until the final best-known version barely resembled the first. Given that the first edition had recently been honored in bicentenary celebrations throughout the world, it is perhaps a good time to re-examine what we think we know about the original tales of Brothers Grimm. The stories the Brothers Grimm first collected are brusque, blunt, absurd, comical, and tragic, and are not, strictly speaking, fairy tales. In fact, the Grimms never intended the tales to be read by children. The tales are about children and families and how they reacted to the difficult conditions under which they lived. The Grimms thought the stories and their morals emanated naturally from the German people in an oral tradition, and they wanted to preserve them before the tales were lost forever. In gathering the tales, the Grimms made a unique contribution to folklore, and their Kinder und Hausmärchen, or Children and Household Tales, is even listed by UNESCO in the Memory of the World Registry. It was in large part the first edition, published in 2 volumes in 1812 and 1815, that inspired folklorists in Europe and Great Britain to gather tales from their oral traditions to preserve as part of their cultural heritage. That's interesting. The first edition is wholly unlike the so-called definitive edition in 1857. In the process of publishing 7 different editions over 40 years, the Grimms made vast changes to the contents and style. The stories in the first edition are closer to the oral tradition than the tales of the final, which can be regarded as more of a literary collection. Because Wilhelm, the younger brother, continually honored the tales so that they would resonate with a growing literary public. The books would become second in popularity only to the Bible in German-speaking lands. By the 20th century, they would become the most famous collection of folk and fairy tales in the Western world. Oh, hello! Hi! I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much. When Jacob B. 1785 and Wilhelm B. 1786 began collecting folk tales and songs at the beginning of the 19th century. They were precocious students at the University of Marburg. Still in their teens, they grew up quite fast, plagued by money problems and caring for their siblings. Their father died in 1796, leaving them the once middle-class family in poverty. Their situation was further aggravated by the rampant Napoleonic Wars. Jacob interrupted his studies to serve the Hessian War Commission. Although Wilhelm passed his law exams and found work as a low-paid librarian in the Royal Library in 1807, Jacob lost his position with the War Commission. When the French occupied Cassel, sorry if I'm butchering that, but he was then hired as a librarian for the new King Jerome, Napoleon's brother, who now ruled Westphalia. Amidst all the upheavals, their mother died in 1808, and Jacob and Wilhelm became fully responsible for their 3 younger brothers and sisters. Oh, so there's lots more in the family than we thought. Yeah. Despite difficult personal problems and the meager financial support from 1805 to 1812, the brothers proved themselves to be innovative scholars in the new field of German philology? Wait, I'm so dumb. Philology? That doesn't sound like a word. Philology? Is that a word? Philology? That's not a word. That's not a word. Philology sounds so stupid. Okay, whatever. Philology. Funny that the study of words sounds so dumb. Philology by published articles and books on medieval literature. In fact, they would be surprised to learn that they are more famous today for their tales than for their superb philological studies, which include pioneering work on German sound shifts and the founding of the voluminous German dictionary in 1854. But it was their training in philology and the demands that they placed on themselves as researchers that assisted in collecting the editions of editing the tales. In 1808, their friend, the romantic poet Clemens Branto, asked him to collect all types of folk tales so he could use them in a book of literary fairy tales. In 1810, they sent him 44 texts, which they fortunately copied. Fortunately, because Brentano then lost the manuscript in the Olenberg Monastery in Alsace and never used the Grimm's text. When they realized that Brentano was not going to use the tales, they decided, upon the advice of another romantic writer and mutual friend, Kim von Armin. Sorry, I'm so bad. Sorry, German champies. I'm sorry. Kim von Arnim to publish their collection. It had grown to 86 tales, which they published in 1812, and then another 70, which they published in 1815. So I think these are folklore tales that they had that were by word of mouth, and they decided to write them down. I suppose they didn't make them themselves. What compelled the Grimms to concentrate on old German epics, tales, and literature was belief that the most natural and pure forms of culture, those which held the community together, were linguistic and based in history. According to them, modern literature, even though it might be remarkably rich, was artificial and thus could not express the genuine essence of folk culture that emanated naturally from experience and bound the people together. Therefore, all their efforts went towards uncovering stories from the past. In their preface, the Grimms explained their interest in the culture of the common people and their intention in recording their tales. It was perhaps just the right time to record these tales. Those people who should be reserving them are becoming more and more scarce. Wherever the tales still exist, they continue to live in such a way that nobody ponders whether they are good or bad, poetic or crude. People know them and love them because they have simply absorbed them in a habitual way, and they take pleasure in them without having any reason. This is exactly why the custom of storytelling is so marvelous. In short, the Grimm's first collection was shaped as an archaeological excavation and as a book for adults and for scholars. The tales were not to be classified as children's stories, not even today. Although the young Grimms had not entirely formalized the concept of folklore, while they worked on the publication of the first edition, they held to their original principle, to salvage relics from the past. They intended to trace and grasp the essence of cultural evolution and demonstrate how natural language, stemming from the needs, customs, and rituals of the common people, created authentic bonds and helped forge civilized communities. This is one of the reasons why they called their collection of tales an educational manual, for the tales recalled the basic values of the Germanic people through storytelling. The Grimms wanted to bequeath the oral tales of the German people, not realizing that these tales would assume relevance in all cultures. Though the tales cannot be considered part of German nationalist movement in the 19th century, they were also related to tales from many other nations, and this relationship accounts for their international appeal today. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Once upon a time, there was a woman with 2 daughters, and they'd become so poor that they no longer had even a piece of bread to put in their mouths. Their hunger became so great, and that their mother became unhinged and desperate. Indeed, she said to her children, "I've got to kill you so I can get something to eat." Oh no! In another haunting tale, The Godfather, a poor man in need of a godfather, unknowingly chooses the devil, who may eat him after a visit to the devil's house of horrors. These tales were omitted in the later editions. Some tales, such as Puss in Boots, Bluebeard, Princess Mouseskin, and Orkello, were also omitted because they were considered too French to be included in the German collection, though it is impossible to clarify fully why certain tales were selected or placed in footnotes in later editions. We don't know that Death and Goose Boy was omitted because of its Baroque literary features, the Strange Feast because of its close resemblance to Godfather Death, the Stepmother because of its fragmentary nature and cruelty, and the Faithful Animals because it came from the City Kur, a collection of Mongolian tales from the first edition in 1812 to 1815, to the final one in 1857. The Grimms received numerous versions of tales already in their collection and new tales from strangers, friends, and colleagues. And they often decided to replace one tale with another version, to delete some of the tales, or to include variants in their footnotes. Oh, okay, so that's why they have multiple different editions, I think, in this other page. In contrast to their final 1857 edition, most of the tales in the first edition are shorter and sparser. They have a rawness that was later to be refined. For example, Rapunzel is embellished a great deal for the final edition. So let's compare them, and then after this next paragraph, we'll start reading them. Okay. So this is the first edition. Once upon a time, there lived a husband and wife who had been wishing for a child for many years, but it had all been in vain. Finally, the woman became pregnant. Now, in the back of their house, the couple had a small window that overlooked a fairy's garden filled with all kinds of flowers and herbs, but nobody ever dared to enter it. And this is 7th edition. Once upon a time, there was a husband and wife who for quite some time had been wishing in vain for a child. Finally, the dear Lord gave the wife a sign of hope that their wish had been fulfilled. Now, in the back of their house, the couple had a small window that overlooked a splendid garden filled with the most beautiful flowers and herbs. The garden, however, was surrounded by a high wall, and nobody dared enter it because it belonged to a sorceress, who was very powerful and feared by all. Aside from adding a Christian motif and substituting a sorceress for a fairy, Wilhelm Grimm also concealed a later scene in the first edition when Rapunzel reveals that she apparently had sex with the prince and was impregnated by him. Other differences in the edition show, in the first, Snow White's mother, not her stepmother, wants to kill the beautiful girl out of envy. The terse tale, The Wild Man, in which a mysterious powerful king helps a boy who had helped him escape from a cage, is embellished and transformed into a very long elaborate tale with the title Iron Hands. The Wild Man in the 1812 version is more kind than the stern Iron Hands, who determines the young man's destiny in a coming of age story. Likewise, the devil in the green coat is given a new title, Bearskin, and a totally new beginning and meaning. In the 1812 tale, the Grimms portrayed an oppressed, timid young man abandoned in the woods by his brothers. Except the devil's green coat that will enable him to survive for 7 years if he doesn't shave or clean himself. In a much longer 1857 version, there are echoes of the Napoleonic Wars. The protagonist is a discharged and homeless soldier who is treated poorly by his family, and then he turns to the devil for survival. I'll read this one last paragraph, okay? All the tales in the first edition bear the marks of their diverse storytellers who believed in magic, superstition, and miraculous transformations of the tales. It may be difficult for us to understand why this is the case, but for the storytellers and writers of these tales, the stories contain truths about the living conditions of their times. The tales in the second edition were collected not from peasants, as to be commonly believed, but mainly from literate people whom the Grimms came to know quite well. Evidence shows that these people often obtained their tales from illiterate or anonymous informants. Even if they did not know their informants, the Grimms came to trust almost everyone who contributed to their collection. It is this mutual trust that marks the tales of something special and endows them with a certain humanity, which Germans call Menschlichkeit. And there's a mutual trust among folklorists in the 19th century that marks it as a golden age of folk and fairy tales. The tales in their first edition set a certain standard that collectors began to follow and still follow even today. Okay, we'll stop that for now, okay? We'll stop reading that for now, but that's like a very good article. I'll tell you where it's from if you want to read the rest. The National Endowment from the Humanities. It's called How the Grimm brothers saved save the fairy tale. If you want to know more, or if you want to keep reading about it, there's still more that I've missed. But pretty much what we gathered from that is that the Grimm brothers got these. Yeah, maybe I'll put a link in the description. Okay? Or maybe I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in the comments down below. But yeah, so basically what we've learned from that these were true kind of true folk tales, I suppose, that were spoken about among families. Maybe like, you know how certain people would like tell stories to make their kids not misbehave or things like that. I think it's probably a mix of that and other just stories that kind of were passed down, and then they wanted to preserve them in this way. I don't know why I thought they wrote them themselves, but I guess they gathered these stories from other people. Which is interesting, and then I guess they just kept elaborating on them and stuff like that. That was an amazing story. It's not a story, it was just a piece of history. But in that case, because we know that they were embellished a bit, but they were longer, do you guys think it's best for me to read the first editions or the latest edition from each story? Which one do you think? Let me know, okay? And we can read whatever edition, because in this, I think it shows. I think these are from the first 3 books. They said that there were 7. That there were 7 different ones. But I think these are only from the first couple. Below, you'll find all the fairy tales from children's and household tales by the Brothers Grimm. Most of the texts are translated by Margaret Hunt. For some of the fairy tales, there are alternate translations provided. The markings are as follows. 1. Fairy tales journal, okay? Fairy tales are based on translation. Okay. Okay, maybe the 4th book, which is marked with 3. First edition is a little bit more retro. Let's just... Okay, for example, let's look at the Frog Prince. Let's just see how different they are. I mean, this is pretty long. Let's just see. Maybe... I know some of these are probably just the same. I mean, this one seems... Okay, we'll read the first editions, I think. Some of these stories will be longer, some of these will be shorter, but I'll read them to you. We'll kind of go down, and while I'm reading, let me know, guys, if you know what these books are based on. If these were based on... If there were any, like... Because I'm sure some of these were used by Disney. I'm sure the Frog Prince is the Princess and the Frog, right? So I'm pretty sure that, you know, some of these are based on things that were later to come books, movies, you know, stuff used by Disney. So let me know in your comments if you know what all these are all based on, or if they weren't based on anything at all, if they were just kind of, you know, at the time, you know. First in the German. I'm not going to be reading in German. I am not a German girl. I'm not very good at German or whatever. But I try. The BGM's a bit distracting. Do you want me to turn it down a little bit? Do you need me to turn the BGM down or not? You want me to turn it down? Okay. I asked you before if you thought that the BGM was good or not. And you said it was okay, so why'd you lie? Why'd you lie? Why'd you lie? It got loud? Oh, sorry. Yeah, because I guess they are different. Is it okay now? Well, do you think it'll be okay with this if I'm reading? Let me know. If you need it changed, just tell me, okay? Just tell me, please. It's fine now? Okay, well, if you need to change at any point, just let me know, okay? Because I don't mind. You've got at least a bit of German in you. You know, unless there's something about my family that I don't know, I don't think I've got any German. I'm pretty sure about my heritage, to be honest. There's no what ifs or anything in there. And I don't think there's any German. But that would be kind of cool if I did. I mean, I would not like to have German ancestry. I would rather be German than other things. So, you know, 999. One day I can learn German. Who here knows how to speak German? If any of you know how to speak German, did you read these original texts in German? And if you have, tell me how close to the originals they are. I'm interested to know. These are official. They seem to be like official. What's it called? Like official translations, but yeah. I don't know my ancestry really. Oh my gosh, I would hate to not know my ancestry. You should take a... Actually, don't take a DNA test because we all know that they fuck with the DNA test and they try and say that you're partly something that you're not, so you'll give them money. But you know, it's okay. My grandfather on my mom's side can speak some, but I can't. You know what sucks? I just hate that my family can speak so many different languages and I'm just a fucking idiot. You know? Like, I can speak too. Like, I just, like, I don't know. Like, so many people, like, on my mom's side can speak, like, lots. And on my dad's side, they can speak, like, lots. My dad can speak, like, what? My dad can speak 1, 2, 3, 4 languages? Like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Well, I know 2 languages and I can write in one other one. And the 2 that I know I can write in, obviously. Yeah, just check your family tree. You don't need to know. You don't need to know everything. Yeah. Doesn't Papa Pyon travel all over the place for his job? Yeah, he does. He does. Well, he used to anyway. He's kind of not really doing that as much anymore. Hi. I know a trilingual family, Russian, Spanish, English. Yeah, it's not fair. It's not fair. I wish I was trilingual. I don't know. My dad will be on the phone and he'll be talking in a language that I don't know, and I'm like, what if he's talking shit? How would we know? How would we know if he's talking shit in my own house? You know? That's not fair. Oh well, I guess I'm trilingual if you can't giggle knees. Giggle knees. You could say I'm fluent in Korean. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm at least trilingual. Well, yeah. And I know different phrases from lots of languages, but I know that doesn't count. Yeah. Oh, and also another one, because I know Pig Latin. Yeah. Yeah. I can kind of speak Spanish because of high school. Really? I wish I learned a cool language in school. You understand me better when I speak Kiki-moose. Oh my god. I used to just talk in Pig Latin to my sister. It was really funny. My mom would be like, what the actual fuck are you doing? Do you speak Chinese? No, I don't speak Chinese. We had German in high school? Oh really? I took a bit of French in high school, but I forgot most of it by now since I never used it for anything. I did Italian. I did Italian, and also they taught us a bit of French too. But I can't fucking remember anything, to be honest. Bunch of baloney. Yeah, Vivi. Yeah, Mamma Mia. Let me think of something. Phrases. Bambino. Mamma Mia. Sto male. Oh, I remember something. Blambino. Wait, I know a song. Buongiorno. Good morning. Buonasera. Good evening. Come stai? How are you? Bene. I'm well. Ridi. Keep smiling. See, I do. È bello. It's lovely. Grazie. Thank you. Yay! How do I remember that? All Italian songs are funny to me. I don't know why. I can't remember anything else. Fuck. I need to, I need to think of... I'm going deep into my brain. Oh. Lunedì, martedì, mercoledì e giovedì, venerdì, sabato, domenica. Okay, that's it. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. That's it. That's all I know. Hey. Yeah. I learned Buon Amo from Aria the animation. Oh. I know, oh. Gato. I made my own song. You wanna hear it? This is my own Italian song. Okay, listen. I made this all by myself. Okay, this is my own I made this song myself. You know, I probably have this song on like tape, cause I recorded it. I recorded it with those you know those things that you can record your voice with, and then it goes like. It was that fucking thing that Kevin had in Home Alone. You know, fuck, I can't remember what it's called. I had one. No, but it was a specific. It was a specific little thing that you could. Yeah. No, it was like a little. It's a little tape recorder, but it had a schnazzy name. It was a schnazzy branded name. I can't really remember what it was called. It was a schnazzy kind of name. Yeah, but it had a schnazzy name. I don't know. It had little fellow on it. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I just know that it had a fellow on it. Anyway, I probably have it somewhere. I could try and find it maybe later. But anyway. I made this all by myself. You wanna hear? The gatto ate a gelato. The gatto ate a gelato. The gatto felt stomale because he ate a gelato. Did you like that? I made it all by myself. Uh-huh. Yep, 3 words. Yeah, the chalk boy. Yeah, chalk boy. Yeah, I made it all by myself. Yeah. Easy to sing along to. Yeah, they call me the singing round. Okay. You know that guy in the Wiggles? I was talking about this literally yesterday with my mom. You know that guy in the Wiggles and his name is Sing-A-Lot-of-Songer? Can we just talk about like how much of a genius that name is? Like, I don't think children will even be able to comprehend how intelligent of a name that is. Mr. Sing-A-Lot-of-Songer. That was like the best name I've ever heard in my life. Like, I wish that was my name. Like, I wish I could like get my birth certificate and just change it. No, Sing-A-Lot-of-Songer. Sing, S-I-N-G-A L-O-T-T-A, Lotta, S-O-N-G-A, Songer. Sing-A-Lot-of-Songer. That's like a billion IQ type stuff, you know? That's like such a smart name. Can we just talk about that for a minute? How much of a good name that is? Please? Please? That's like such a good... you know what? If I had that name, I'd be like... Oh, Professor Sing-A-Lot-of-Songer? Oh, yeah. Yeah, can we name our firstborn, No, he'll be a professor one day. Can we call him to sing a lot of songer? Please, 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 please. Like, I bet the guy, like, they're probably, okay, I'm envisioning this. They're at like a meeting, okay? They're at like some kind of meeting together. And they're like, there's this new guy and he's singing. Does anyone know what we could call him? And they're at a meeting. And this one guy, this like quiet guy, he's never, you know, he's kind of on thin ice with his boss. He's never like made any good ideas. And he's gonna be cut from the team soon, okay? So he really needs to think of something. But luckily he had this really smart idea and he's been saving it for this moment, okay? And he goes, oh, wait, I have the best idea. And everyone turns to him. There's like 100 people in that meeting room. They all turn to him and he goes, stands up. He goes on the whiteboard and he writes it. Sing a lot of songer. And everyone cheers. Woo! Everyone claps for him and they're so happy that he found such a great name. And then he's promoted. Yeah, okay. Thank you. That's my second scary story, by the way. That's my second one. It's the story of Sing a Lot of Songer. My first one was prom, okay? Yeah. One of my elementary school classmates was an Austrian, and on her own time, she made an extracurricular German learning class which I attended. That was cool, so technically I started learning German as my second language before English. Also, she also somehow arranged a pen pal thing with some Austrian schools, so we exchanged letters with them. I visited Germany, Austria, and Switzerland a bunch of times, and I kept up the language skill. That's actually so cool, what the heck? Yeah, look at him, look at him. Look at him. Excuse me. Everyone, please look. This is Professor Sing a Lot of Songer. Now listen, this guy's probably so happy that that's his name. He's probably never felt like better. Okay? There was multiple tryouts and I needed to find the best guy to play Sing a Lot of Songer. So stupid. And anyway, look at the game. He's so cool. He's so cool. Wow. Wow. He's so cool. He's so cool. What's his name? Professor. I whispered in their ear. Professor, sing a lot of song. And then they go. And they just come everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna stop. This isn't funny anymore. It's stupid, I'm sorry. Sorry. Hey, I've said it before and I'll say it again. No one likes it when I get my derp on, okay? No one likes it. But I do it anyway. I knew a guy in high school whose last name was Boner. Imagine that. Imagine if your last name was Boda. That would suck. That would suck. What's your name? What's your name? Humongous. Humongous what? 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 Here. Humongous what? Humongous what? Hugh Mungus. My name is Hugh Mungus. Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous. Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous. Humongous what? Humongous. Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? That was years ago? No, it wasn't. What are you even talking about? That was like a year ago. Humongous what? Humongous. Sorry, I'm so annoying. That video is gone now? No, it's not. Shut up. No, it isn't. Hang on. Give me a fucking second. I've got a screen share on. I can do this now. Easy as pie. Watch this. Watch this. Alright, let's look this up. Hugh Mungus. Please. What? Where's the actual Hugh Mungus video? Where did it go? Where's the Hugh Mungus video? Oh, here we go, here we go. Okay.
So right now.
Alright guys, you guys have to watch this. This is a masterpiece. Please, this is so important. Please, you have to watch, okay? Alright. Let me know if you can hear it okay. This is the third story. Oh wait, let me just turn my capture. Let me change the filter. Hang on. Okay. Okay. It's so important, okay? I'm a reaction YouTube channel now.
Now, the news is interviewing a person whose daughter was a heroin addict, I think, is what he said in his public comment. And he's pro-bunker, he's pro-cops. And so he's the one getting interviewed, and there are like a million people who have spoken about how they've been abused by the cops.
How's the volume?
They're not being spoken to. Only the person who's pro-bunker, who's also a person of
Okay.
color. So they got their token. And
Okay.
that's the one they're using.
Okay.
I have no idea, we'll find out.
Okay. Look at him, that's Hugh. That's Hugh. A little low. Oh, sorry. There we go, that should be good.
You take my picture.
Yeah.
You want my name?
Yeah, sure.
It's Humongous.
Humongous what? Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
That's what it is.
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment?
No, it's humongous.
Then why did you say that to
That's
me?
my name.
What? Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment? Is that what you just did when you said that to me?
What, humongous?
Why would you say that to me?
Yes, but my name.
Why would you say that to me?
Why would I say it to
Why
you?
would you say that to me?
Why would you ask me my name?
What? Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous
Humongous
what?
what?
This person just spoke to me in a sexually harassing
Oh,
way.
I did not.
Yeah, he did. He said, do you know what my name is? And I said,
you
what?
want my
And he
name.
said, Humongous. Yeah. This person just sexually harassed me.
I said I'm humongous.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Humongous what?
Humongous.
This poor
guy
so
just
now
said his
you're
name.
so now you're actually pointing to yourself. You're actually pointing to your body parts, and you're actually pointing to your body parts and saying that you're humongous. You're actually doing that. And this is the person who just got interviewed as a pro-bunker person of color, as if you represent us. They're using you as a token, and then you speak to me in a sexually harassing manner. How dare you? How dare you? Disgusting! Disgusting!
You left the room saying your daughter's lives matter, but you
Disgusting! You just abused a woman! You just abused a woman, and you have the audacity! You have the audacity to say that girls matter? How dare you? How dare you? You disgusting person! Disgusting! Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Lower your voice.
Are you going to do anything about how he sexually harassed me? Are you going to do anything about how he sexually harassed me? Are you going to?
I need to go.
You're okay. He's asking me to leave. He's asking me to leave after I've been sexually harassed.
I'm just asking.
You're asking me to leave after I've been sexually sexually harassed? Did you ask him to leave? Did you ask him to leave? Did you ask him to? Are you following him? Did you ask him to stop sexually harassing me? What is your name? 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 You work for the city. We are here in a public place. You need to tell me what your name is.
My name is Tanel.
Yeah.
And I work for a security firm. I do not work for a city, okay?
You work for us, so you don't work for us. So that means I don't have to do what you want. You don't work for us, that means I don't have to do what you want.
Stop raising your voice at me.
What is your name?
Right now you are breaking our building rules. You're being disorderly.
No, sorry. No. What is your name? What is your name? What is your name?
I've already told you my name.
What is your no you haven't. What is your full name? What is your full name and what company do you work for? What is your full name?
Universal Protection. My name is Tanel Stefanescu.
Why are you questioning her?
I'm just asking.
Okay, I feel like this goes for like way too long. It goes for like 8 minutes, and I think she's just harassing these guys. And she's like, "How could you say that? How could you say that? How could you say that?" Do we see Hugh again or not? Do we see Hugh again? I wanna watch it one more time. I wanna watch it one more time. One more time. I have to hear him say it. I just have to hear him saying it again.
You want my name?
Yeah, sure.
Listen, this apparently is sexual abuse of a woman, okay? This is sexual abuse of a woman. You wanna see it? You wanna watch it on stream? You wanna watch it on stream? Okay, you wanna see the abuse that she was screaming about? Let's just rewatch. Let's rewatch the abuse.
You take the right picture.
Yeah.
You want my name?
Yeah, sure.
It's Hugh Mungus.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, it's so funny. Do you want to know my name? It's Hugh Mungus. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And he's so pleased with himself. And she, instead of taking... You know what? If that guy did that to me, if he told me his name was Hugh Mungus, I would be like... I would be like that. That's so funny. Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? And even though that other guy who he was asking like what his name was, she just kept repeating it. With that big eating grin, yeah. Humongous what? Humongous what? Oh god. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry for like watching that. I just reference that all the time, so I'm just telling you what I'm referencing. Cause I'm like, cause sometimes it just gets in my head. Sometimes it always just gets in my head. Humongous what? Humongous what? What is my name? Humongous. Humongous what? Humongous what? Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. So too many people spend too long on the Twitter bubble and feel absolutely shocked when they go outside world and see that things don't work that way. They get absolutely shocked. They get absolutely shocked as soon as they're like, you know, someone like says a fucking joke. As soon as someone says a joke. That wasn't even that bad. That was, you know what? He could have said, "My name is Mike Honey." He could have said that. He could have said something way worse. But he said humongous. He just said humongous. It's a classic. That's funny as hell. Like, why is she so mad? That's really funny. My name's humongous. She totally expected someone around her to side with her too. Yeah, and all the security guards like, fuck off. That guy was funny. He wasn't harassing you. He's calling himself humongous. Local dad joke causes international incident. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry. I just find that stuff so funny. It's like, what are you even talking about? Yeah. That's just funny. Yeah. I don't feel bad for this woman getting a little bullying online after the video went viral. Oh, I find it hilarious. I love videos like this, and I love watching them getting absolutely like slaughtered in comment sections. It's funny. It's hilarious. I'm like, good. You can realize that like you're not normal and your opinion wasn't normal. And it was stupid that you said that. Hopefully you can learn from the idiocracy that you did. And you know what the fucking hilarious thing is about this all? She recorded it. Like it's not even a reaction that someone else recorded. She recorded it herself and thought, oh my god, what harassment. I have been so messed with by these security guards and this mean man. I'm gonna post it on social media and get people to be outraged. And she posted it and she's got absolutely like, and you know what? She probably posted it to a tiny little like Twitter circle or something. Like a tiny little Twitter circle probably like, oh my god, girl, like I can't believe it happened. And then more people saw that and they were like, wait a minute, hang on, what the fuck is this? This is so stupid. And then she got absolutely fucked and it's funny. Yeah. She recorded it without consent. Yeah, I know. That's a public. And literally, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was public property. So they probably had some kind of. I mean, they did have cameras there, but sometimes when there's cameras there like that, they don't allow filming on premises. I don't know. But I think she thought people would be on her side. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. But it's yeah. Anyway, no, this is years old, but that's what I keep references. I just think it's funny how she just doesn't get it. It's like humongous what, humongous what, humongous what. Kiki voted before. Oh, in Australia it's mandatory. I have to vote, otherwise I get fined. So I'm gonna vote, so I don't have to pay for that. Do you like dick and cider? Oh shit. Yeah. Oh my god. Aren't VTubers in Japanese/Chinese? Why is she speaking English? Because there's English VTubers now. Yeah, that's a thing. Maybe you can go on Wikipedia and look up VTubers on there. They're just streamers with avatars like this. Yeah. Although there are lots of other threads you can look at to find Japanese VTubers, you know. So yeah, sorry, you know. I got a new job as a cork soaker. I soak corks all day. It pays so well. Oh fuck off! Come on, have a hat. Again, VTubers, it's so over. Oh my god. Shut the fuck up. 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 It's from year 2019, yeah. Dicks inside. That was a home run at Cabri. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Have a heart. Have a heart. I'm sick of this. Yeah, Ian VTubers have been thing. Like, how'd you miss like Hollow Live? Like, how'd you miss like any VTuber, Ian VTuber clips? You know, not that they're good by any standard, but I'm just saying, like, how'd you miss that? You know, do you not use YouTube? They're all over the place. We should read things now. Okay. Baby wants a spoon feed. Yeah. How is this anime corresponding to people's comments? I'm the only 2B, by the way, that reads threads. Okay. I don't think the Grimms have a tail more horrifying than this humongous bitch. Yeah, exactly. You know, this is the funny thing, because I've been talking about some pretty grim stories, if I do say so myself. So I guess technically it's on topic. Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous. Sorry, I'll stop saying the same joke. Okay, let me just schnaz and then we'll start reading, okay? Just give me a schnaz, and a schnoz. Alright. Just give me a schnaz,
Okay, just give me a schnaz. Ugh, 1 sec. Okay. Give me a minute. Ow. Squibby dooby dooey, where are you? I need some help from you now. Dooby dooby dooey, where are you? I need a snaz from you now. Okay. Squibby dooby dooey, where are you? I need a snaz from Champyons. Snaz. You're a snaz, and I just snazzed a rabba. And I just snazzed a rabba. Okay, please tell me how the volume is, guys. Sorry, it's so. I just needed a second. Okay, I'm sorry. Just, give me like 5 minutes. I'm sorry. Just give me 5 minutes. I just need to yeah. Sorry. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be back, and then we'll read. I promise.
Противник на северо-востоке! Противник! Северо-запад! Противник на юге! Они атакуют с юго-востока! Зависим! Противник на юго-западе!
Hello? Sorry, I'm back now. Sorry. I'm back. Sorry. I just had a little bit of a, so I just, but now I'm all comfy now, okay? Yeah, I feel lots better now. I'm nice and comfy now. Yes, and stuff and whatever. Nice and clean and everything. So there's no need to worry or whatever. Let me just turn my aircon off. It's too cold now. Okay. Shmiku, where are you? I'm right here. I'm back though. Don't even worry about it, okay? Alright, I'm gonna turn this music on and let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. Okay. Let me just snaz. Dum bum boop ba dip beep ba dum bum dida dida beep ba doop boop boop dum ba da bum ba dum bum ba da. Alright. And let me know if this will be okay with reading. I'll give it a sec. If it gets too loud or if the next song gets really loud or anything, can you tell me? Because I can always turn it up and down. I can turn it down a little now actually. Just in case. Okay. Are you ready for a spooky story? Ooh, spooky. Spooky. Okay? Okay. If it changes, let me know, okay? Let me just have a little bit more coffee. Okay, so we'll kind of be going top to bottom, and as I mentioned before, if you guys want to tell me where you think these stories are from or how they've been adapted, we'll talk about it after each story, okay? But the first one will be, I'll be reading the first edition. So the Frog Prince will be reading first, okay? Alright. Now, I want you before we start to just not get too nervous, okay? Don't be too nervous. Just sit with me. Okay, try and feel a little snazzy and comfy. Get comfortable. You comfy right now? Get comfy. Get as comfy as you can, okay? Feel humble, alright? So just listen, okay? Alright. Okay. Just listen. Okay. Alright, let's do a little reading. So this is the first story. I'll read to you like I used to read to, the kids. I know where I was teaching, okay? Okay, so this is the first story. It's called The Frog Prince. And I will say, I'm sorry, guys, my mouth's not going to be moving much because I'm going to have my mouth right in front of the mic. Sorry about that. This is the first one. It's called The Frog Prince, okay? One fine evening, a young princess put on her bonnet and clogs and went out to take a walk by herself in the woods. And when she came to a cool spring of water that rose in the midst of it, she sat herself down to rest a while. Now she had a golden ball in her hand, which was her favorite plaything, and she was always tossing it up and down, up into the air, and catching it again as it fell. After a time, she threw it up so high that she missed catching it as it fell, and the ball bounced away and rolled along upon the ground, till at last it fell down into the spring. The princess looked into the spring after her ball, but it was very deep, so deep that she could not see the bottom of it. Then she began to bewail her loss and said, "Alas, if only I could get my ball again, I would give all my fine clothes and jewels and everything that I have in the world." While she was speaking, a frog put its head out of the water and said, "Princess, why do you weep so bitterly?" "Alas," said she, "but can you do for me? What can you do for me, you nasty frog? My golden ball has fallen into the spring." The frog said, "I want not your pearls and jewels and fine clothes, but if you will love me and let me live with you and eat from off your golden plate and sleep upon your bed, I will bring you your ball again." "What nonsense," thought the princess. "This silly frog is talking. He can never even get out of the spring to visit me, though he may be able to get my ball for me. and therefore I will tell him, and he shall have what he asks. So she said to the frog, well, if you will bring me my bowl, I will do as you ask. And the frog put his head down and dived deep under the water. And after a while he came up again with the bowl in his mouth, and threw it on the edge of the spring. As soon as the young princess saw her bowl, she ran to pick it up, and she was so overjoyed to have it in her hand again, she never thought of the frog, but ran home with it as fast as she could. The frog thought, the frog called after her, "Stay, princess, and take me with you as you said," but she did not stop to hear a word. The next day, just as the princess had sat down to dinner, she heard a strange noise, tap, tap, plash, plash, as if something was coming up the marble staircase. And as soon afterwards, there was a gentle knock at the door, and a little voice cried out and said, "Open the door, my princess dear. Open the door to thy true love, here. And mind the words that thou and I said, by the fountain cool in the greenwood shade." Then the princess ran to the door and opened it, and there she saw the frog, whom she had quite forgotten. At this sight she was sadly frightened, and shutting the door as fast as she could, came back to her seat. The king, her father, seeing that something had frightened her, asked her what was the matter. "There is a nasty frog," she said, "at the door, that lifted my bowl for me out of the spring this morning. I told him that he should live with me here, thinking that he could never get out of the spring, but there he is at the door, and he wants to come in." While she was speaking, the frog knocked again at the door and said, "Open the door, my princess dear. Open the door to thy true love, here. And mind the words that thou and I said by the fountain cool in the greenwood shade." Then the king said to the young princess, "As you have given your word, you must keep it. So go and let him in." She did so, and the frog hopped into the room, and then straight on, tap, tap, plash, plash, from the bottom of the room to the top, till he came up close to the table where the princess sat. "Pray lift me upon chair," said he to the princess, "and let me sit next to you." As soon as she had done this, the frog said, "Put your plate nearer to me, then I may eat out of it." This she did, and when he had eaten as much as he could, he said, "Now I am tired. Carry me upstairs and put me into your bed." And the princess, though very unwillingly, took him up in her hand and put him upon the pillow on her bed, where he slept all night long. As soon as it was light, he jumped up, hopped downstairs, and went out of the house. "Now then," thought the princess, "at last he is gone, and I shall be troubled with him no more." But she was mistaken, for when night came again, she heard the same tapping at the door. The frog came in once more and said, "Open the door, my princess dear. Open the door to thy true love, here. And mind the words that thou and I said by the fountain cool in the greenwood shade." And when the princess opened the door, the frog came in, and slept upon her pillow as before, till the morning broke. And the third night he did the same. But when the princess awoke on the following morning, he was astonished to see, instead of a frog, a handsome prince gazing on her with the most beautiful eyes she had ever seen, and standing at the head of her bed. He told her that he had been enchanted by a spiteful fairy, who had changed him into a frog, and that he had been fated so to abide till some princess should take him out of the spring, and let him eat from her plate, and sleep upon her bed for 3 nights. "You," said the prince, "have broken his cruel charm, and now I have nothing to wish for but you should give me into your father's kingdom, where I will marry you, and love you as long as you live." The young princess, you may be sure, was not long in saying yes to all this. And as she spoke, a gay coach drove up, with 8 beautiful horses, decked with plumes of feathers and a golden harness. And behind the coach rode the prince's servant, faithful Heinrich, who had bewailed the misfortunes of his dear master during his enchantment so long and so bitterly, that his heart had well nigh burst. They took leave of the king, and got into the coach with 8 horses, and set out full of joy, merriment for the prince's kingdom, which they reached safely, and they lived happily a great many years. What did you think about that, guys? Did you like that one? That's obviously the princess and the frog, definitely. I think that was a good one. What did you think? And how's the volume? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully it's okay. Let me just double check the bread. I think it's okay. Yeah, this is a princess and the frog. Yeah, that was a happy ending. I think that was a nice one. A good starting point, not too spooky. Just so you know, there will be some speak of gay in this book. I don't want the same joke said every time. Yes, in the olden times they said gay for happy. Ha ha, very funny, okay? Can we get that out of the way now? Okay. No need to be fools, alright? Be mature. Anyway, so these are the frog prints, okay? Now let's read the next one called Cat and Mouse in Partnership, okay? Some of these may be shorter than others, but we'll see. Okay, so this is called A Cat and Mouse in Partnership. I wonder what this one is based off of. If anything is... If anything. Alright. No, that's not what I meant. Yes, okay. I like that they talk about animals in these. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so this is A Cat and Mouse in Partnership, alright guys? A certain cat had made the acquaintance of a mouse, and had said so much to her about the great love and friendship she felt for her, and that at length the mouse agreed that they should live and keep house together. But we must make a provision for winter, or else we shall suffer from hunger, said the cat, and you, little mouse, cannot venture everywhere, or you will be caught in a trap some day. The good advice was followed, and a pot of fat was brought, but they did not know where to put it. At length, after much consideration, the cat said, I know no place where it will be better stored up than in the church, for no one dares take anything away from there. We will set it beneath the altar, and not touch it until we are really in need of it. So the pot was placed in safely, but it was not long before the cat had a great longing for it, and said to the mouse, I want to tell you something, little mouse. My cousin has brought a little son into the world, and has asked me to be the godmother. He has white and brown spots, and I am to hold him at the christening. Let me go out today, and you look after the house by yourself. Yes, yes, answered the mouse, by all means go. And if you get anything very good, think of me. I should like a drop of sweet red christening wine too. All this, however, was untrue. She went straight to the church, stole the pot of fat, began to lick it, and licked the top of the fat off. Then she took a walk upon the roofs of town, looked out for opportunities, and then stretched herself in the sun, and licked her lips whenever she thought of the pot of fat. And not until it was evening did she return home. Well, here you are again, said the mouse. No doubt you have had a merry day. And went off well, answered the cat. What name did you give the child? Top off, said the cat coolly. Top off, cried the mouse. That is a very odd and uncommon name. Is it a usual one in your family? What does it signify? Said the cat. It is not worse than crumb stealer, as your godchildren are called. Before long the cat seized by another fit of lounging. She said to the mouse, You must do me a favour, and once more manage the house for a day alone. I am again asked to be a godmother, and as the child has a right ring around its neck, I cannot refuse. The good mouse consented, but the cat crept behind the town walls to the church, and devoured half the pot of fat. Nothing ever seemed so good as what one keeps to oneself, she said, and was quite satisfied with her day's work. When she went home, the mouse inquired, And what was the child christened? Half done, answered the cat. Half done? What are you saying? I've never heard that name in my life. I'll wager anything it is not in the calendar. The cat's mouth soon began to water for some more licking. All good things go in threes, said she. I am asked to stand godmother again. The child is quite black, only it has white paws, but with that exception, it has not a single white hair on its whole body. This only happens once every few years. You will let me go, won't you? Top off, half done, answered the mouse. They are such odd names. They make me very thoughtful. You sit at home, said the cat, on your dark grey fur coat and long tail, and are filled with fancies. That's because you do not go out in the daytime. During the cat's absence, the mouse cleaned the house and put it in order, but the greedy cat entirely emptied the pot of fat. When everything is eaten up, one has some peace, she said to herself. and well filled and fat, she did not return home till night. The mouse at once asked what the name had been given to the third child. "It will not please you more than the others," said the cat. "He is called All Gone." "All Gone!" cried the mouse. "That is the most suspicious name of all. I have never seen it in print. All Gone, what can that mean?" And she shook her head, held herself up, and laid down to sleep. From this time forth, no one invited the cat to be a godmother. But when the winter had come and there was no longer anything to be found outside, the mouse thought of their provision and said, "Come, cat, we will go to our pot of fat, which we stored up for ourselves, and we shall enjoy that." "Yes," answered the cat, "you will enjoy it as much as you would enjoy sticking that dainty tongue of yours out of the window." They set out on their way, but when they arrived, the pot of fat certainly was still in its place, but it was empty. "Alas," said the mouse, "now I see what had happened. Now it comes to light. You, a true friend, you have devoured all when you were standing godmother. First top off, then half done, then—" "Will you hold your tongue?" cried the cat. One word more and I will eat you too." "All Gone" was already on the poor mouse's lips. Scarcely they had spoken it before the cat sprang on her, seized her, and swallowed her down. Verily, that is the way of the world. Oh my god. That poor little guy. That poor little mouse. He just wanted to be a true friend and that mean old cat ate her. Yeah, what a mean cat. Why would she do that? How could you do that to a mouse? I don't know, that was really mean of that cat. Well, I guess what that shows is that a cat and a mouse can always be friends and they'll be tricked in the end or whatever. That was so mean. And as soon as that mouse figured it out too, but he wanted to give that cat the benefit of the doubt. To be fair, the mouse had plague. Hopefully he gave the plague to that mean cat. Yeah. The moral of the story is bad things happen to good people and bad people get everything. Yeah. That's sad. Good thing that never happened in Tom and Jerry or whatever. Yo, that's sad. Well, that was called a cat and mouse partnership. Let's read this other one. It's called Our Lady's Child. Okay. You liking these so far? I'm enjoying reading them. Hard by the great forest dwelt a woodcutter with his wife, who had an only child, a little girl 3 years old. They were, however, so poor that they no longer had daily bread, and did not know how to get food for her. One morning the woodcutter went out sorrowfully to his work in the forest, and while he was cutting wood, suddenly there stood before him a tall and beautiful woman with a crown of shining stars on her head, who said to him, "I am the Virgin Mary, mother of the child Jesus. Thou art poor and needy. Bring thy child to me. I will take her with me and be her mother, and care for her." The woodcutter obeyed, brought his child, and gave her to the Virgin Mary, who took her up to heaven with her. There the child fared well, ate sugar cakes, and drank sweet milk, and her clothes were of gold. And the little angel played with her. And when she was 14 years of age, the Virgin Mary called her one day and said, "Dear child, I am about to make a long journey, so take into thy keeping the keys of the 13 doors of heaven. 12 of these thou mayest open, and behind the glory which is within them. But the 13th, to which this little key belongs to, is forbidden thee. Beware of opening it, or thou wilt bring misery on thyself." The girl promised to be obedient, and when the Virgin Mary was gone, she began to examine the dwellings of the kingdom of heaven. Each day she opened one of them, until she had made the round of the 12. In each of them sat one of the apostles in the midst of a great light, and she rejoiced in all of the magnificence and splendor. And the little angels who always accompanied her rejoiced with her. Then the forbidden door alone remained.
and she felt a great desire to know what could be hidden behind it, and said to the angels, "I will not quite open it, and I will not go inside it, but I will unlock it, so that we can see a little through the opening." "Oh no," said the angels, "that would be a sin. The Virgin Mary had forbidden it, and it would easily cause thy unhappiness." Then she was silent. The desire in her heart was not stilled, but gnawed there and tormented her, and let her have no rest. And once when the angels had all gone out, she thought, "Now I am quite alone, and I could peep in. If I do it, no one would ever know." She sought out the key, and when she had got it in her hand, she put it in the lock, and when she had put it in, she turned it round as well. There the door sprang open, and she saw there the Trinity, sitting in fire and splendor. She stayed there for a while, looked at everything in amazement. Then she touched the light a little with her finger, and her finger became quite golden. Immediately a great fear fell on her. She shut the door violently and ran away. The terror too would not quit her. Let her do what she might, and her heart beat continually and would not be still. The gold too stayed on her finger and would not go away. Let her rub it and wash it never so much. It was not long before the Virgin Mary came back from her journey. She called the girl before her and asked to have the keys of heaven back. When the maiden gave her the bunch, the Virgin looked into her eyes and said, "Hast thou not opened the 13th door also?" "No," she replied. Then she laid her hand on the girl's heart and felt how it beat, and saw right well that she had disobeyed her order and had opened the door. Then she said once again, "Art thou certain that thou hast not done it?" "Yes," said the girl, for the second time. Then she perceived the finger which had become golden from touching the fire of heaven, and saw well that the child had sinned, and saw for the third time, for the third time, "Hast thou not done it?" "No," said the girl, for the third time. Then said the Virgin Mary, "Thou hast not obeyed me, and besides that thou hast lied, thou art no longer be worthy for heaven." Then the girl fell into a deep sleep, and when she awoke, she lay on the earth below, and in the midst of a wilderness, she wanted to cry out, but she could bring forth no sound. She sprang up and wanted to run away, but whithersoever she turned herself, she was continually held back by thick hedges of thorns, through which she could not break. In the desert in which she was imprisoned, there stood an old hollow tree, and this had to be her dwelling place. Into this she had crept. When night came, where she slept, here too she found a shelter from storm and rain, but it was a miserable life, and bitterly did she weep when she remembered how happy she had been in heaven, and how the angels had played for her. Roots and wild berries were her only food, and for these she sought as far as she could go. In the autumn she picked up the fallen nuts and leaves, and carried them into the hole. The nuts were her food in winter, and when snow and ice came, she crept amongst the leaves like a poor little animal that she might not freeze. Before long her clothes were all torn, and one bit of them after another fell off of her. As soon, however, as the sun shone warm again, she went out and sat in front of the tree, and her long hair covered her on all sides like a mantle. Thus she sat year after year, and felt the pain and misery of the world. One day, when the trees were once more clothed in fresh green, the king of the country was hunting in the forest, and followed a roe, and as it fled into the thickest which shut in the bit of the forest, he got off his horse, tore the bushes asunder, and cut himself a path with the sword. When he had at last forced his way through, he saw a wonderfully beautiful maiden sitting under the tree, and she sat there and was entirely covered with her golden hair, down to her very feet. He stood still and looked at her with surprise, then spoke to her and said, "Who art thou? Why art thou sitting here in the wilderness?" But she gave no answer, for she could not open her mouth. The king continued, "Wilt thou go with me to my castle?" Then she nodded her head, and Okay. So. Well, thou go to my castle. Then she just nodded her head a little. The king took her in his arms, carried her to his house, and rode home with her. When he reached the royal castle, he caused her to be dressed in beautiful garments, and gave her all things in abundance. Although she could not speak, she was still so beautiful and charming that he began to love her with all his heart, and it was not long before he married her. After a year or so had passed, the queen brought a son into the world. Thereupon the Virgin Mary appeared to her in the night when she lay in bed alone, and said, If thou wilt tell the truth and confess that thou didst unlock the forbidden door, I will open thy mouth and give thee back thy speech. But if thou perseverest in thy sin and deniest obstinately, I will take thy newborn away with me. Then the queen was permitted to answer, but she remained hard and said, No, I did not open the forbidden door. And the Virgin Mary took the newborn child in her arms and vanished with it. The next morning, when the child was not to be found, it was whispered among the people that the queen was a man-eater and had killed her own child. She heard all this and could not say anything to the contrary, but the king would not believe it, for he loved her so much. When a year had gone by, the queen again bore a son, and in the night the Virgin Mary again came to her and said, If thou wilt confess that thou openest the forbidden door, I will give thee thy child back, and untie thy tongue. And if thou continuest in sin and denies it, I will take away with me this new child also. Then the queen again said, No, I did not open the forbidden door. And the Virgin took the child out of her arms and away with her to heaven. Next morning, when this child had disappeared, the people declared quite loudly that the queen had devoured it, and the king's counselors demanded that she should be brought to justice. The king, however, loved her so dearly that he would not believe it, and commanded the counselors under pain of death not to say any more about it. The following year, the queen gave birth to a beautiful little daughter, and the third time the Virgin Mary appeared to her in the night and said, Follow me. She took the queen by her hand and led her to heaven, and showed her her two eldest children, who smiled at her, and were playing with the ball of the world. When the queen rejoiced thereat, the Virgin Mary said, Is thy heart not yet softened? If thou wilt own that thou openest the forbidden door, I will give thee back thy two little sons. But for the third time the queen answered, No, I did not open the forbidden door. Then the Virgin let her sink down to earth once more, and took from her likewise her third child. Next morning, when the queen lost was reported abroad, all the people cried loudly, The queen is a man-eater, she must be judged, and the king was no longer able to restrain his counselors. Thereupon a trial was held, and she could not answer and defend herself. She was condemned to be burnt alive. The wood was got together, and when she was fast bound to the stake, and the fire began to burn around her, the hard ice of pride melted, her heart was moved by repentance, and she thought, If I could but confess before my death that I opened the door. Then her voice came back to her, and she cried out loudly, Yes, Mary, I did it. And straightway rain fell from the sky and extinguished the flames of fire, and a light broke forth above her, and the Virgin Mary descended with two little sons by her side, and the newborn daughter in her arms. He spoke kindly to her and said, He who repents his sin and acknowledges it is forgiven. Then she gave her the three children, untied her tongue, and granted her happiness for her whole life. Ooh, that's a good story. What did you guys think? It's true. Did you know that? I like that one. I mean, why didn't she just admit it earlier, you know? I don't know. Let me just have a little bit of coffee. Yeah, why didn't she just admit it? Virgin Mary had the patience of a saint with that bitch. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, they do.
First she was unhumble, then was humble, but damn girl, you knew what was gonna happen to kid 2 by that point and still ran with it. I know, right? I mean, I think she didn't deserve that because she literally sacrificed her children just for a silly lie about the door. Yeah. Yeah, it's like you don't really realize and you wish you could do something different as soon as you get punished. You know what I mean? Or like punished really bad, like dying. She didn't like say what she did wrong until like she was literally being burnt alive at the stake. How awful. But yeah, I like that one. I think that was good. I wonder why it wasn't, because this one was only put in the first book. I wonder why it wasn't put in any others. That was good. I'm sorry I'm not very good with saying like thy and stuff. I did like study literature and I can understand what it all means. I'm just like, it's weird. It's weird when something's written in that way to read it out loud. I don't know why. So I'm sorry if it's bad, but I'm trying my best. Please understand. Alright, let's read this next one. I'm enjoying these so far. I wonder if that's based on another story or anything, or if anything's based on it. Okay. The story of the youth who went forth to learn what fear was. What's that? What do you mean? What the hell is that? All her children got to live in heaven. I know, but like... So she didn't... I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not the children's fault that she sucked. And also the fact that she got to live in heaven as a child. I wonder if that means her mum did the same thing. Or like did something bad as well and didn't like confess. Because she was taken from her as well. Biblically accurate angels don't make good babysitters. I mean, yeah, but you know, I guess in this one they're nice and they play with her. So that's good. At least they're not fucking with her. Anyway. Alright, let's read this one. The story of the youth who went forth to learn what fear was. The moral is repentance. Yeah. I know. I just wonder if it has anything to do with like your children like suffering from something that their parents did, or I don't know, maybe that's not it, because I guess they're in heaven so they're not really suffering, but you know, they could have made it that way easily, I think. Anyway. Let's start reading this one. A certain father had 2 sons, the elder of whom was sharp and sensible and could do everything, but the younger was stupid and could never learn nor understand anything. And when people saw him, they said, "There's a fellow who will give his father some trouble." When anything had to be done, it was always the elder who was forced to do it. But if his father bade him fetch anything when it was late, or in the night time, and the way led through the churchyard, or any other dismal place, he answered, "Oh no, father, I'll not go there. It makes me shudder," for he was afraid. Or when stories were told by the fire at night, which made the flesh creep, the listeners often said, "Oh, it makes us shudder." The youngest sat in a corner and listened with the rest of them, and could not imagine what they could mean. There is always a saying, "It makes me shudder, it makes me shudder." It does not make me shudder, thought he. That, too, must be an art of which I understand nothing. Now, it came to pass that his father said to him one day, "Hearken to me, thou fellow in the corner there. Thou art growing tall and strong, and now too must learn something by which thou canst earn thy living. Look how thy brother works, but thou dost not even earn thy salt." "Well, father," he replied, "I'm quite willing to learn something indeed, if it could be managed. I should like to learn how to shudder." "I don't understand that at all yet." The elder brother smiled when he heard that and thought to himself, "Good God, what a blockhead that brother of mine is. He will never be good at anything as long as he lives. He who wants to be a sickle must bend himself betimes." The father sighed and answered him, "Thou shalt soon learn what it is to shudder, but thou wilt not learn anything. But thou not earn thy living by that." Soon after this, the sexton came to the house on a visit,
And the father bewailed his trouble and told him how his youngest son was so backward in every respect that he knew nothing and learnt nothing. Just think, said he. When I asked him how he was going to earn his bread, he actually wanted to learn to shudder. If that be all, replied the sexton, he can learn that with me. Send him to me, and I will soon polish him. The father was glad to do it, for he thought it would train the boy a little. The sexton therefore took him to his house, and he had to ring the bell. After a day or two, the sexton awoke him at midnight, and bade him arise and go up into the church tower and ring the bell. Thou shalt soon learn what shuddering is, thought he, and secretly went there before him. And when the boy was at the top of the tower and turned around, and was just going to take hold of the bell rope, he saw a white figure standing on the stairs opposite of the sounding hole. Who is there? Cried he. But the figure made no reply, and did not move or stir. Give an answer, cried the boy, or take thyself off. Thou hast no business here at night. The sexton, however, remained standing motionless, that the boy might think he was a ghost. The boy cried a second time, What dost thou want here? Speak if thou art an honest fellow, or I will throw thee down the steps. The sexton thought, he can't intend to be as bad as his words, uttered no sound, and stood there, if he made of stone. Then the boy called to him a third time, and as that was also to no purpose, he ran against him and pushed the ghost down the stairs, so that it fell 10 steps and remained lying there in the corner. Thereupon he rang the bell, went home, and without saying a word went to bed, and fell asleep. The sexton's wife waited a long time for her husband, but did not come back. At length she became uneasy, and wakened the boy and asked, Dost thou not know where my husband is? He climbed up the tower before thou didst. No, I don't know, replied the boy, but someone was standing by the sounding hole on the other side of the steps. And as he would neither give an answer nor go away, I took him for a scoundrel and threw him downstairs. Just go there, and you will see if it was he. I should be sorry if it were. The woman ran away and found her husband. He was lying moaning in the corner and had broken his leg. She carried him down, and then, with loud screams, she hastened to the boy's father. Your boy, cried she, has been the cause of great misfortune. He has thrown my husband down the steps and made him break his leg. Take the good-for-nothing fellow away from our house. The father was terrified, and ran thither and scolded the boy. What wicked tricks are these, said he. The devil must have put this in thy head. Father, he replied, do listen to me. I am quite innocent. He was standing there by night, like one who was intending to do some evil. I did not know who it was, and I entreated him 3 times either to speak or to go away. Ah, said the father, I have nothing but unhappiness with thee. Go out of my sight. I will see thee no more. Yes, father. Right, willingly. Wait only until it is day. Then will I go forth and learn how to shudder, and then I shall, at any rate, understood one art which will support me. Learn what thou wilt, spake the father. It is all the same to me. Here are 50 thalers for thee. Take these and go into the wide world, and tell no one from whence thou comest. And who is thy father? For I have no reason to be ashamed of thee. Yes, father, it shall be as you mind. If you desire nothing more than that, I will easily keep it in mind. Wow, he's like disowning him. When day dawned, therefore, the boy put his 50 thalers into his pocket and went forth onto the great highway, and continually said to himself, If I could but shudder, if I could but shudder. Then a man approached who heard the conversation which the youth was holding with himself, and when they had walked a little further to where they could see the gallows, the man said to him, Look, there is the tree where 7 men had married the rope-maker's daughter, and are learning how to fly. Sit down below it, and wait till night comes, and thou wilt soon learn how to shudder. If that is all that is wanted, answered the youth, it is easily done, but if I learn how to shudder as quickly as that, thou shalt have my 50 thalers. Just come back to me early in the morning. Then the youth went to the gallows, sat down below it, and waited till evening. And as soon And as he was cold, he lighted himself a fire. But at midnight, the wind blew so sharply that in spite of his fire, he could not get warm. And as the wind knocked the hanged men against each other, they moved backwards and forwards. He thought to himself, "Thou shiverest below by the fire, but how those up must freeze and suffer." And he felt pity for them. He raised the ladder and climbed up, unbound one of them after the other, and brought down all 7. Then he stirred the fire, blew it, and set them all around to warm themselves. But they sat there and did not stir, and the fire caught in their clothes. But he said, "Take care, or I will hang you up again." The dead men, however, did not hear, but were quite silent, and let their rags go on burning. On this he grew angry and said, "If you will not take care, I cannot help you. I will not be burnt with you." And he hung them up again, each in his turn, and then sat down by his fire and fell asleep. The next morning the man came to him and wanted to have 50 thalers, and said, "Well, dost thou know how to shudder?" "No," answered he. "How was I to get to know? Those fellows up there did not open their mouths, and were so stupid that they let their old rags which they had on their bodies get burnt." Then the man saw that he would not carry away 50 thalers that day, and he went away saying, "One of this kind has never come in my way before." The youth likewise went his way, and once he began to mutter to himself, "Ah, if I could but shudder, but if I could shudder!" A wagoner who was striding behind him heard that and asked, "Who art thou?" "I don't know," answered the youth. Then the wagoner asked, "From whence comest thou?" "I know not." "Who is thy father?" "That I may not tell thee." "What is it that thou art always muttering beneath thy teeth?" "Ah," replied the youth, I do so wish I could shudder, but no one can teach me how to do it." "Give up thy foolish chatter," said the wagoner. "Come, go with me. I will see about a place for thee." The youth went with the wagoner, and in the evening they arrived at an inn, where they wished to pass the night. Then at the entrance of the room the youth again said quite loudly, "If I could but shudder, if I could but shudder." The host who heard that laughed and said, "If that is what you desire, there ought to be a good opportunity for you here." "Ah, be silent," said the hostess. "So many inquisitive persons have already lost their lives. It would be a pity and a shame if such beautiful eyes as these should never see the daylight again." But the youth said, "However difficult it may be, I will learn it, and for this purpose indeed have I journeyed forth." He let the host have no rest until the latter told him that not far from thence stood a haunted castle, where anyone could be easily learned what shuddering was. If he would but watch it for 3 nights, the king had promised that he would venture should have his daughter to wife, and she was the most beautiful maiden the sun shone on. Great treasures likewise lay in the castle, which were guarded by evil spirits, and these treasures would then be freed, and would make a poor man rich enough. Already many men had gone into the castle, but as yet none had come out again. Then the youth went next morning to the king, and said that if he were allowed, he would watch 3 nights in the enchanted castle. The king looked at him, and as the youth pleased him, he said, "Thou mayest ask for 3 things to take into the castle with thee, but they must be things without life." Then he answered, "Then I ask for a fire, a turning lathe, and a cutting board with a knife." The king said had these things carried into the castle for him during the day. When night was drawing near, the youth went up and made himself a bright fire in one of the rooms, placed the cutting board and the knife beside it, and seated himself by the turning lathe. "Ah, if I could but shudder," he said, "but I shall not learn if here either." Towards midnight he was about to poke the fire, and as he was blowing it, something cried suddenly from the corner. "Oh, meow!" Meow! Meow? "How cold we are, you simpletons!" cried he. "What are you crying about? If you are cold, come take a seat by the fire and warm yourselves." And when he had said that, 2 great black cats came with one tremendous leap and sat down on each side of him and looked savagely at him with fiery eyes. After a short time, when they had warmed themselves, they said, Comrade, shall we have a game at cards? Why not, he replied, but just show me your paws. Then they stretched out their claws. Oh, said he, what long nails you have. Wait, I must first cut them a little for you. Thereupon he seized them by their throats, put them on the cutting board, and screwed their feet fast. I have looked at your fingers, said he, and my fancy for card playing is gone. And he struck them dead and threw them out into the water. Why? But when he had made away with these two, and was about to sit again by the fire, out from every hole and corner came black cats and black dogs with red-hot chains. And more of them came, until he could no longer stir. And they yelled horribly, and got on his fire, pulled it to pieces, and wanted to put it out. He watched them for a while quietly, but at last, when they were going too far, he seized his cutting knife and cried, Away with you, vermin! And began to cut them down. Part of them ran away, the others were killed, and threw out into the fish pond. When he came back, he blew up the embers of the fire again and warmed himself. And as he thus sat, his eyes would keep open no longer, and he felt a desire to sleep. Then he looked round and saw a great bed in the corner. That is the very thing for me, said he, and got into it. When he was just going to shut his eyes, however, the bed began to move on its own accord and went over the whole of the castle. That's right, said he, but go faster. Then the bed rolled on as if 6 horses were harnessed to it, up and down, over thresholds and steps. But suddenly, hop, hop, it turned over upside down and lay on him like a mountain. But he threw quilts and pillows in the air and got out and said, Now anyone who likes may dive, and lay down by this fire, and slept until it was day. In the morning the king came, and when he saw him lying there on the ground, he thought the spirits had killed him and he was dead. Then said he, After all it was a pity. He is a handsome man. The youth heard, got up and said, It has not come to that yet. Then the king was astonished, but very glad, and asked how he fared. Very well indeed, answered he. 1 night is over, 2 others will get over likewise. Then he went to the innkeeper, who opened his eyes very wide and said, I never expected to see thee alive again. Hast thou learnt how to shudder yet? No, said he, it is all in vain. If someone would but tell me. The second night he again went up to the old castle, sat down by the fire, and once again began his old song, If I Could But Shudder. When midnight came, an uproar and noise of tumbling about was heard. At first it was low, but it grew louder and louder. Then it was quiet for a while, and at length with a loud scream, half a man came down the chimney and fell before him. Hullo, cried he, another half belongs to this. This is too little. Then the uproar began again. There was a roaring and howling, and the other half fell down likewise. Wait, said he, I will just blow up the fire again for thee. When he had done that and looked around again, the 2 pieces were joined together, and a frightful man was sitting in his place. That is no part of our bargain, said the youth. The bench is mine. The man wanted to push him away. The youth, however, would not allow that, but thrust him off with all his strength, and seated himself again in his own place. Then still more men fell down. One after another, they brought 9 dead men's legs and 2 skulls, and set them up and played at 9 pins with them. The youth also wanted to play and said, Hark you, can I join? Yes, if thou hast any money. Money enough, replied he, but your balls are not quite round. When he took the skulls and put them in the lathe and turned them, then he put them in the lathe and turned them until they were round. There, now they will roll better, said he. Hurrah! Now it goes merrily. We played with them and lost some of his money. But when it struck 12, everything vanished from his sight. He lay down and quietly fell asleep. Next morning the king came to inquire after him. How has it fared with thee this time? Asked he. I have been playing at 9 pins, he answered, and have lost a couple of farthings. Hast thou not shuddered yet? What? Said he. I have made merry. If I did not know what it was to shudder. The third night, he sat down again on his bench and said quite sadly, if I could but shudder. When it grew late, 6 tall men came in and brought a coffin. Then said he, haha, that is certainly my little cousin who only died a few days ago. And he beckoned with his finger and cried, come little cousin, come. They placed the coffin on the ground, but he went to it and took the lid off, and the dead man lay therein. He felt his face, but it was cold as ice. Stop, said he, I will warm thee a little, and went to the fire and warmed his hand, and laid it on the dead man's face, but he remained cold. When he took him out, and sat down by the fire, and laid him out on his breast and rubbed his arms, that the blood might circulate again. As this also did no good, he thought to himself, when 2 people lie in bed together, they warm each other, and carried him to bed, covered him over, and lay down with him. After a short time, the dead man became warm too, and began to move. Then said the youth, see, little cousin, have I not warmed thee? The dead man, however, got up and cried, now will I strangle thee. What, said he, is that how you shall thankest me? Thou shalt at once go into thy coffin again. And he stood, took him up, threw him into it, and shut the lid. Then came the 6 men, and carried him away again. I cannot manage to shudder, said he. I shall never learn it here as long as I live. Then a man entered, who was taller than the others, and looked terrible. He was old, however, he had a long white beard. Thou wretch, cried he, thou shalt soon learn what it is to shudder, for thou shalt die. Not so fast, replied the youth. If I am to die, I shall have a say in it. I will soon seize thee, said the fiend. Softly, softly, do not talk so big. I am as strong as thou art, and perhaps even stronger. We shall see, said the old man. If thou art stronger, I will let thee go. Come, we will try. Then he led him by a dark passage to a smith's forge, took an axe, and with one blow struck an anvil into the ground. I can do that better still, said the youth, and went to the other anvil. The man placed himself near and wanted to look in, and his white beard hung down. Then the youth seized the axe, split the anvil with one blow, and struck the old man's beard with it. Now I have thee, said the youth. Now it is thou who wilt have to die. Then he seized an iron bar and beat the old man till he moaned and entreated him to stop. And he would give him great riches. The youth drew out an axe and let him go. The man led him back into the castle, and in a cellar showed him 3 chests full of gold. Of these, said he, 1 part is for the poor, and the other is for the king, the 3rd is mine. In the meantime, it struck 12, and the spirit disappeared. The youth therefore was left in the darkness. I shall still be able to find a way out, said he, and felt around, found the way into the room, and slept there by the fire. Next morning, the king came and answered, what can it be? My dead cousin was here, and a bearded man came and showed me a great deal of money down below, but no one told me what it was to shudder. Then, said the king, thou hast delivered the castle, and shalt marry my daughter. That is all very well, said he, but still I do not know what it is to shudder. Then the gold was brought up to the wedding, and the wedding celebrated. But howsoever much the king loved his wife, however happy he was, he still said always, if I could but shudder, if I could but shudder. And at last she was angry at this. Her waiting maid said, I will find a cure for him, and he shall soon learn what it is to shudder. She went out to the stream which flowed through the garden, and had a whole bucket full of gudgeons brought to her. At night, when the young king was sleeping, his wife was to draw the clothes off him and empty the bucket full of cold water and the gudgeons in it over him, so that the little fishes would sprawl on him. When this was done, he woke up and cried, oh, what makes me shudder so? What makes me shudder so, dear wife? Ah, now I know what it is to shudder.
Oh, so his wife did it in the end. Oh, I see. His wife His wife did it in the end. He sees. He saw what it was. I see. Okay. He got pranked in the end. He got punked. He was so confused. Why are you confused? This guy's like clearly like a psycho who was like able to kill things in the haunted house. Basically, this guy was so fucking stupid that he didn't see anything as a threat, so he didn't actually get scared by it, right? But like the only thing that scared him was fish on him. Was having fish on him. Okay. Okay. It's fish. He hates fish. He hates fish. Pretty much the moral of the story is that fish scary. I hate my wife. And if you're stupid, you'll be less scared. Lord simple. Fish! Fish! These people have some good luck with royalty though. Like literally got kicked out by his dad for being stupid. And like somehow got picked up by, like he could have gone homeless and died of like starvation, but all these people like wanted to help him out. Also, he like almost burnt people alive. Also, the weirdest part of it is like he literally saw someone playing like bowling with a skull and was like, oh wait, let me just grind that down for you so the skull can become like spherical so I can roll it. And then he had such a good time playing bowling with limbs and a fucking skull. Like, what the fuck? And he casually just killed 2 cats for no reason because he didn't like their claws. He didn't like their hands, so he's like, alright, you're dead, bye. Funny. Like, did the king not notice, like, all the dead people and animals in the backyard, or I don't know. They were gonna cheat at cards anyway. Yeah, but there's no reason to kill them. They're just cats. I like how they wrote meow, M-I-A-O. Meow, like that. Yeah, anyway. There was so much going on in that story. There was a lot, but I think this is our first proper example of like I don't know, like really gruesome. Because the others weren't too gruesome, they were just kind of weird. These are kind of gruesome. Yeah, I feel like the black cats and dogs are some kind of generic monster thing, but the author was a tad unimaginative. Well, I don't think it's an author, I think these are folk tales that have been told like by parents and stuff to like, I don't know, to their kids, and their kids have remembered it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's really like a... I don't know, like a... I don't know how to explain it. It's not really like a, oh my god, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. It wasn't like a written story. They just put these into the book because they were there and everything. But did you guys like that? That one? I think that was pretty good. It was pretty long though. I hope my reading's okay. How do you guys think my reading is? It's tricky with stuff like that. Yeah. He knows how to speak though. I thought he wasn't able to learn. He can't learn practical skills, right? I think. I don't know. Like his dad was like, oi, like, so you know, pretty much like the thing that you want to do, is it really gonna help you make money? And he's like, no, Dad, I don't want to learn any life skills. I want to learn how to shudder. I want to learn how to shudder. I want to shudder, Dad. I want to shudder. Let me shudder. Like I gotta be super scared or whatever. Hey. Yeah. In the end, he was right though. His dad proved to be the ass clown. Exactly. Exactly. Let me have some water. Yeah, this is what the fish look like that they poured on him, by the way, if you're wondering. I wouldn't be upset if they put those on me. If someone was to put a little fish on me like that, I'd be like, oh my god, it's a fish. I would never shudder at that. I'd be like, oh my god. Oh my god, it's a fish. It's a fish. Yeah. Okay. Shall we read another one? Again, I hope my reading is okay, guys. I think that was a good one. Okay. Shall we? Or not? I loved and hated that one. Okay. The Wolf and the Seven Kids. Okay. Do I mean kids as in... So kid is also just another word for a baby goat. So I wonder if these are actual kids that they're talking about or baby goats. So just so we know, just to clarify, little baby goats are kids. They're called kids. So I think this is talking about their little kids, okay? Alright, just so you know. Alright, let's do some reading now. Okay, so this is The Wolf and the Seven Little Kids. There was once on a time. Fuck. I'm gonna say once upon a time because there was once on a time does not make any sense. Once upon a time, an old goat who had 7 little kids and loved them with all the love of a mother for their children. One day, she wanted to go into the forest and fetch some food, so she called all 7 to her and said, "Dear children, I have to go into the forest. Be on your guard against the wolf. If he comes in, he will devour you. He will devour you all." This doesn't seem to be written very well. I'm gonna do the one in the next. This one. Okay, sorry guys, okay. I was gonna call you little guys. I was about to say sorry little guys. Then I'm like, you guys sorry. I was talking a little man for a minute there. Yeah, here we go. This is better written. Okay, this will make better sense. Alright. Sorry. Okay. Let's restart. Alright, so this real brackets is The Wolf and the 7 Little Kids. There was once upon a time an old goat who had 7 little kids, and she loved them with all the love of a mother for her children. One day, she wanted to go into the forest and fetch some food, so she called all 7 to her and said, "Dear children, I have to go into the forest. Be on your guard against the wolf. If he comes in, he will devour you, all skin, hair, and everything. The wretch often disguises himself, but you will know him at once by his rough voice and his black feet." The kids said, "Dear mother, we'll take good care of ourselves. You may go away without any anxiety." Then the old one bleated and went on her way with an easy mind. It was not long before someone knocked at the house door and called, "Open the door, dear children. Your mother is here and had brought something back for her for each of you." But the little kids knew that it was the wolf by the rough voice. "We will not open the door," cried they. "You are not our mother. She has a soft, pleasant voice, but your voice is rough. You are the wolf." Then the wolf went away to a shopkeeper and bought himself a great lump of chalk, ate this, and made his voice soft with it. Then he came back, knocked at the door of the house and said, "Open the door, dear children. Your mother is here and has brought something back with her for each of you." But the wolf had laid his black paws against the window, and the children saw them and cried, "We will not open the door. Our mother has not black feet like you. You are the wolf." Then the wolf ran to a baker and said, "I've hurt my feet. rub some dough of them for me. And when the baker had rubbed his feet over, he had made the miller and said, "Strew some white meal over my feet for me." The miller thought to himself, "The wolf wants to deceive someone," and refused. But the wolf said, "If you will not do it, I will devour you." Then the miller was afraid, and made his paws white for him. Truly, this is the way of mankind. So now the wretch went for the third time to the house door, knocked on it and said, "Open the door for me, children. Your dear little mother has come home and has brought every one of you something back for the forest with her." The little kids cried, "First show us your paws, that we may know if you are our dear little mother." Then he put his paws through the window, and when the kids saw that they were white, they believed that all he said was true and opened the door. But who should come in but the wolf? They were terrified and wanted to hide themselves. One sprang under the table, the second into the bed, the third into the stove, the fourth into the kitchen, and the fifth into the cupboard, the sixth under the washing bowl, and the seventh in the clock case. But the wolf found them all, and used no great ceremony. One after the other he swallowed them down his throat. The youngest, who was in the clock case, was the only one he did not find. When the wolf had satisfied his appetite, he took himself off, laid himself under a tree in the green meadow outside, and began to sleep. Soon afterwards the old goat came home again from the forest. Ah, what a sight she saw there! The house door stood wide open, the table, chairs, and benches were thrown down, the washing bowl lay broken to pieces, and the quilts and pillows were pulled off the bed. She sought her children, but they were nowhere to be found. She called them one after another by name, but no one answered. At last she came to the youngest. A soft voice cried, "Dear mother, I am in the clock case." She took the kid out, and it took her that the wolf had come and had eaten all the others. Then you may imagine how she wept over her poor children. At length in her grief she went out, and the youngest kid ran with her. When they came into the meadow, there lay the wolf by the tree, and snored so loud that the branches shook. She looked at him on every side and saw that something was moving and struggling in his gorged belly. "Ah, heaven," she said, "it is possible that my poor children whom he has swallowed down for his supper can be still alive?" Then the kid had to run home and fetch scissors and a needle and thread, and the goat cut open the monster's stomach, and hardly had she made one cut, that one little kid thrust his head out, and when she had cut further, all six sprang out one after another, and were all still alive, and had suffered no injury whatsoever. For in his greediness the monster had swallowed them down whole. What rejoicing there was! They embraced their dear mother, and jumped like a tailor at his wedding. The mother, however, said, "Now go and look for some big stones, and we will fill the wicked beast's stomach with them, while he is still asleep." Then 7 kids dragged the stones thither with all speed, and put as many of them into the stomach as they could get in. And the mother sewed him up again with great haste, so that he was not aware of anything, and never once stirred. When the wolf at length had his fill of sleep, he got on his legs, and the stones in his stomach made him very thirsty. He wanted to go to the well to drink, but when he began to walk and move about, the stones in his stomach knocked against each other and rattled. Then cried he, "What rumbles and tumbles against my poor bones? I thought 'twas 6 kids, but it feels like big stones." And when he got to the well and stood over at the water to drink, the heavy stones made him fall in, and he drowned miserably. When the 7 kids saw that, they came running to the spot and cried loud, "The wolf is dead! The wolf is dead!" and danced for joy around the well with their mother. What the fuck was that? So he was greedy and swallowed the kids alive. And somehow, as he was sleeping, the mother, without waking him up, cut open his stomach, got the kids out, and then filled it back up with rocks while he was asleep, floated him back up, and then he died. Was the wolf not concerned about the fact that they were moving in his stomach? How did he fall asleep? And how did the goats not die?
What the hell? The only way to win in these fairy tales is to be a goat? Yeah. Poor little baby goats. They hated that. They hated that that happened.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Saw an animated movie of that, but it was sheeps instead. Oh, really? That's so weird. Well, you know, I mean, how was the fucking wolf able to eat like 6 baby goats? Question mark? You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know, that's some fucking deep sleep. He was snoring so loud. Okay, he was hungry. He was just eepy. No! The moral of the story is never eat baby goats and fall asleep under a tree, otherwise their mother will come and open your stomach and then fill it with rocks. And if you've eaten the rocks, don't go and drink some water because you'll fall in and drown. Okay? Very specific moral, but it could help someone out in the future. I don't know. They told the story to a child who wanted to eat baby goats. And was a wolf. Yeah. Yeah, please remember this advice for later, okay? That's a little life hack for you. Yeah, a little life hack. That was a funny one.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Okay, let me have a little bit more water. Okay. What's the next one? Faithful John. Who's Faithful John? Who is Faithful John? Let me know in the comments below if you know him, okay? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway. Faithful John. Okay. Also, why has this always got to do with royalty? That's funny, that's funny. Come on, come on. Come on, that's not Faithful John. Come on. You're being crazy now. Oh my god, there goes my afternoon plans. Yeah, I'm sorry, you may have to do something else if you were planning to war 6 baby goats later today. Let's read this one, okay? This one's called Faithful John. Faithful John. Okay. Alright, alright. Hey. Once upon a time, there lived an old king who felt very sick and thought he was lying upon his deathbed. So he said, "Let Faithful John come to me." This Faithful John was his affectionate servant, and was so called because he had been true to him all of his lifetime. As soon as John came to his bedside, the king said, "My faithful John, I feel that my end approaches, and I have no other care than about my son, who is still young, that he is still so young that he cannot always guide himself aright. If you do not promise to instruct him in everything he ought to know, and to be his guardian, I cannot close my eyes in peace." Then John answered, "I will never leave him. I will always serve him truly, even if it costs my life." So the old king was comforted and said, "Now I can die in peace. After my death, you must show him all the chambers, halls, and vaults in the castle, and all the treasures which are in them. But the last room in the long corridor you must not show him, for it hangs a portrait of the daughter of the king of the Golden Palace. If he sees her picture, he will conceive a great love for her, and will fall down in a swoon, and on her account undergo great perils. Therefore you must keep him away." The faithful John pressed his master's hand against in token of assent, and soon after the king laid his head upon the pillow and expired. Don't say rest in peace. Jesus. After the old king had been borne to his grave, the faithful John related to the young king all that his father had said upon his deathbed, and declared, "All this I will certainly fulfill. I will be as true to you as I was to him, if it cost me my life." When the time of mourning was past, John said to the young king, "It is now time for you to see your inheritance. I will show you to your parental castle." So he led the king all over it, upstairs and downstairs, and showed him all the riches and all the splendid chambers. Only one room he did not open, containing the perilous portrait, which was so placed that one saw it directly the door was open, and moreover, it was so beautifully painted that one thought it breathed and moved. Nothing in all the world could be more lifelike or more beautiful. The young king remarked, however, that the faithful John always passed by one door, so he asked, "Why do you not open that one?" "There is something in it," he replied, "which will frighten you." But the king said, "I have seen all the rest of the castle, and I will know what is in there." And he went and tried to open the door by force. The faithful John pulled him back and said, "I promised your father before he died that you should not see the contents of that room. It will bring great misfortunes upon you and me." "Oh no," replied the young king. "If I do not go in it, will be my certain ruin. I should have no peace night nor day until I had seen it with my own eyes. Now, I will not stir from that place till you unlock the door." Then the faithful John saw that it was no use talking. So with a heavy heart and many sighs, he picked the key out of the great bunch where he had opened the door. He went in first and thought he would cover up the picture, that the king should not see it. But it was of no use, for the king stepped upon tiptoes and looked over his shoulder, and as soon as he saw the portrait of the maiden, which was so beautiful and glittered with precious stones, he fell down on the ground, insensible. The faithful John lifted him up and carried him to his bed, and thought with great concern, "Mercy on us! The misfortune has happened. What will come of it?" And he gave the young king wine until he came to himself. The first words he spoke was, "Who does that beautiful picture represent?" "That is the daughter of the king of the Golden Palace," was the reply. Then said the king, "My love for her is so great that if all the leaves on the trees had tongues, they would not gainsay it. My life is set upon the search for her. You are my faithful John. You must accompany me." The trusty servant deliberated for a long while how to set about this business, for it was very difficult to get into the presence of the king's daughter. At last he bethought himself afar away, and said to the king, "Everything which she has around her is of gold: chairs, tables, dishes, bowls, and all the household utensils. Among your treasures are 5 tons of gold. Let one of the goldsmiths of your kingdom manufacture vessels and utensils of all kinds therefrom, all kinds of birds and wild and wonderful beasts, such as will pleasure her. Then we will travel with these and try our luck." Then the king summoned all his goldsmiths, who worked day and night until many very beautiful things were ready. When all had been placed on board of a ship, the faithful John put on merchant's clothes, and the king likewise, so that they might travel quite unknown. Then they sailed over the wide sea, and sailed away until they came to the city where dwelt the daughter of the king of the Golden Palace. The faithful John told the king to remain in the ship and wait for him. "Perhaps," said he, "I shall bring the king's daughter with me. Therefore, take care that is all in order, and set out the golden vessels, and adorn the whole ship." Thereupon, John placed in a napkin some of the golden cups, stepped upon land, and went straight to the king's palace. When he came into the castle yard, a beautiful maid stood by the brook, who had 2 golden pails in her hand, drawing water. And when she had filled them, and had turned around, she saw a strange man, and asked who he was. Then John answered, "I am a merchant." And opening his napkin, he showed her its contents. Then she exclaimed, "Oh, what beautiful golden things!" And setting the pails down, she looked at the cups one after another and said, "The king's daughter must see these, and is so pleased with everything made of gold that she will buy all of these." And taking him by the hand, she let him in, for she was the lady's maid. When the king's daughter saw the golden cups,
She was much pleased and said, "They are so finely worked that I will purchase them all." But the faithful John replied, "I am only the servant of a rich merchant. What I have here is nothing in comparison to those which my master has in his ship." Then was nothing more delicate or costly than ever been worked in gold. Then the king's daughter wished to have them all brought, but he said, "It would take many days, and so great is the quantity that your palace has no holes enough in it to place them around." Then her curiosity and desire were still more excited, and at last she said, "Take me to that ship. I will go myself and look at your master's treasure." The faithful John conducted her to the ship with great joy, and the king, when he beheld her, saw that her beauty was still greater than the picture had represented, and thought nothing else but that his heart would jump out of his mouth. Presently she stepped on board, and the king conducted her below, but the faithful John remained on deck by the steersman, and told him to unmoor the ship and put on all the sail he could, that it might fly as a bird through the air. Meanwhile the king showed the princess all the golden treasures, the dishes, cups, bowls, the birds, the wild and beautiful beasts. Many hours passed away while she looked at everything, and in her joy she did not remark that the ship sailed on and on. As soon as she had looked at the last and thanked the merchant, she wished to depart, but when she came on deck, she perceived that they were upon the high sea, far from the shore, and were hastening on with all sail. "Ah," she exclaimed in a fright, "I am betrayed! I am carried off and taken away in the power of a strange merchant. I would rather die!" But the king, taking her by the hand, said, "I am not a merchant, but a king, thine equal in birth. It is true that I have carried thee off, but that is because of my overwhelming love for thee. Dost thou know that when I first saw the portrait of thy beauteous face, I fell down in a swoon before it?" When the king's daughter heard these words, she was reassured, and her heart was inclined toward him. So she willingly became his bride. While they thus went on the voyage on the high sea, it happened to be that faithful John, as he sat on the deck of the ship playing music, saw the three crows in the air, who came flying toward them. He stopped playing and listened to what they were saying to each other, for he understood them perfectly. The first one exclaimed, "There he is, carrying home the daughter of the king of the golden palace." "But he is not home yet," replied the second. "But he has her," said the third. "She is sitting by him on the ship." Then the first one began again and exclaimed, "What matters that? When they go on shore, a fox-colored horse will spring towards them, on which he will mount, and as soon as he does it, it will jump on him into the air. It will jump up with him into the air, so that he will escape, that he will never again see his bride." The second one asked, "And there is no escape?" "Oh yes, if another mounts behind quickly, and takes out the firearms which are in the holster, and with them shoots the horse dead, then the young king will be saved. But who knows that? And if anyone does it, and tells him, such a one will be turned to stone from the toe to the knee." From toe to the knee. Then the second spoke again. "I know still more. If the horse should be killed, the young king will not then retain his bride. For when they come to the castle, a beautiful bridal shirt will lie there upon a dish, and seem to be woven of gold and silver. It is nothing but sulphur and pitch, and if he puts it on, it will burn him to his marrow and bones." Then the second crow asked, "Is there no escape?" "Oh yes," said the second. "If someone takes up the shirt and with the gloves on, and throws it into the fire, and that it is burnt, the young king will be saved. But what does that signify? Whoever knows it and tells him will be turned into stone from the knee to his heart." Then the third crow spoke. "I know still more. Even if the bridal shirt be consumed, still the young king will not retain his bride. Or if, after the wedding, a dance is held, while the young queen dances, she will suddenly turn pale, and fall as if dead. And if someone does not raise her up, and take 3 drops of blood from her right breast, and throw them away, she will die. But whoever knows that, and tells it, will have his whole body turned to stone, from the crown of his head to the toes of his feet." After the crows had thus talked with one another, they flew away, And the trusty John, who had perfectly understood all they had said, was from that time very quiet and sad. For if he concealed from his master what he had heard, misfortune would happen to him. And if he told him all, he must give up his own life. But as he last thought, I will save my master, even if I destroy myself. As soon as they came to the shore, it happened just as the crow had foretold, and an immense fox-red horse sprang up. "Capital," said the king, "this shall carry me to my castle." And he tried to bemount, but the faithful John came straight up, swinging himself quickly on, drew the firearms out of the holster, and shot the horse dead. Then the other servants of the king, who were not on good terms with the faithful John, exclaimed, "How shameful to kill the beautiful creature, which might have borne the king to the castle." But the king replied, "Be silent and let him go. He is my very faithful John, who knows the good he may have done." Now they went to the bridal castle, and there stood a dish in the hall, and the splendid bridal shirt lay on it, and seemed nothing else but gold and silver. The young king went up to it and wished to take it up, but the faithful John pushed him away, taking it with his gloves on, bore it quickly to the fire, and let it burn. The other servants thereupon began to murmur, saying, "See, now he is burning the king's bridal shirt." But the young king replied, "Who knows what good he has done? Let him alone. He is my faithful John." Soon after, the wedding was celebrated, and a grand hall was given, and the bride began to dance. So the faithful John paid great attention and watched her countenance. And as soon as she grew pale and fell as if dead on the ground, he sprang up gracefully, raised her up, and bore her to a chamber, where he laid her down, near beside her, drawing 3 drops of blood out of her right breast, and threw them away. As soon as she breathed again, she raised herself up, and the young king witnessed everything, and not knowing why the faithful John has done this, was very angry and called out, "Throw him into prison." The next morning, the trusty John was brought up for trial, and led to the gallows. And as he stood upon them, and was about to be executed, he said, Everyone condemned to die may once speak before his death. Shall I also have that privilege?" "Yes," answered the king. "It shall be granted you." Then the faithful John replied, "I have been unrighteously judged, and have always been true to you." And he narrated the conversation of the crows, which he had heard at sea, and how in order to save his master he was obliged to do what he had done. Then the king cried out, "Oh, my most trusty John, pardon, pardon, lead him away." And the trusty John had fallen down at the last word and was turned into stone. At this event, both the king and queen were in great grief, and the king thought, "Ah, how wickedly have I rewarded his great fidelity." And he had the stone statue raised up and placed in his sleeping chamber near his bed, and as often as he looked back at it, he wept and said, "Ah, could I bring you back to life again, my faithful John?" After some time had passed, the queen bore twins, 2 little sons who were her great joy. Once when the queen was in church, and the 2 children at home playing by their father's side, he looked up at the stone statue full of sorrow, and exclaimed with a sigh, "Ah, could I restore you to life, my faithful John?" At these words the statue began to speak, saying, "Yes, you can make me alive again, if you will bestow on me that which is dearest to you." The king replied, "All that I have in the world I will give up for you." The statue spoke again, "If you with your own hand cut off the heads of both of your children and sprinkle me in their blood, I shall be brought to life again." The king was terrified when he heard that he must kill his 2 dear children, but he remembered his servant's great fidelity, and how the faithful John had died for him. And drawing his sword, he cut off the heads of both of his children with his hand, and as soon as he had sprinkled the statue with their blood, life came back to it. And the trusty John stood alive again, and well before him, and said, "Your faith shall not go unrewarded." And taking the heads of the 2 children, he set them on again, and anointed their wounds with their blood. And thereupon they healed again in a moment, and the children sprang away, and played as if nothing had happened. Now the king was full of happiness, and as soon as he saw the queen coming, he hid the faithful John and both the children in a great closet. As soon as she came in, he had said to her, "Have you prayed in the church?" "Yes," she answered, "but I thought continually of the faithful John, who had come to such misfortune misfortune through us. But he replied, "My dear wife, we can restore his life again to him, but it will cost us both our little sons, whom we must sacrifice." The queen became pale and was terrified at heart, but she said, "You're guilty of his life on account of his great fidelity." Then he was very glad that she thought he did, and going up to the closet, he unlocked it, brought out the children, and faithful John saying, "God be praised, he is saved, and we have still our little sons." And then he told her all that happened. Afterward, they had lived happily together to the end of their days.
What? Wow. He was so cool. So cool. Thank you, faithful John. Thank you, faithful John. Thank you very much. That was very sweet.
Yeah, I know, that's interesting. Yeah, luckily that guy could speak Crow for some reason. He's so faithful. What do you guys think the moral of that story is? Let me know. What do you think? Let me know, okay? These have been interesting stories, actually. They're very random. I wonder, like, where they, like, kind of come from, you know? Just have faith and have a heart. And you'll get rewarded, I guess. I guess. Yeah, if you're true to someone and faithful to them, then yeah, you'll maybe get brought back to life. Hey. Yeah. Did you know that? Oh. Child sacrifice is the answer sometimes? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I would never cut the heads off on my 2 fucking children. For a stupid servant. Not to be rude or whatever. But, you know, not to be rude. They kind of seem like a bit of a pushover, to be honest. Faithful John, I love you so much. Me. Meow. 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 Meow, 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 ooh, meow, ooh, meow, ooh, meow, ow, ow, meow, ow, ow, meow, ow, ow, meow, ow, ow. You should have asked for a raise. Yeah. I mean, I guess he got to live in a castle for free. But you know what it's like. ... And then let me get one. I'm reading my rabbit book in my rabbit room. In the rabbit book. My god, there's so many fairy tales in my book. A rabbit book. A book. A rabbit book. My rabbit book. Rabbit book. A rabbit book. Rabbit book. A rabbit book. Rabbit book. Rabbit book. Rabbit book. My rabbit book. Rabbit book. Oh, so he kidnapped his wife, by the way. We just completely forgot about that. He literally just kidnapped his wife. So, you know, that's pretty interesting if you ask me. But I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Water under the bridge, really? Yeah, she was asking for it. I mean, she did go onto the boat, to be fair. To be completely fair with you all. Yeah, okay. Alright, alright, alright. But, I don't know, I think that'll probably be our last story for today. But did you enjoy these? I think they were really good. I think they were fun as pie. What do you think? Like a little bit of reading? Yeah, that was fun. I did have fun doing that. Oh, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. That's kind. That's really kind. Okay, thank you. That's kind. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that a lot. I want to quickly go through, what are we doing tomorrow? Let's have a little look at what we're doing. I think we're playing more, Majora's Mask tomorrow, aren't we? We're gonna be getting the big sword and everything. Yes, yes. And the day after, it's, Australia Day, so that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Yeah. But you know, that was really fun. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys something actually. Next week I'm doing something kind of exciting. Which, for me anyway, which will be fun. I'm doing something kind of exciting. It's a secret. It's a bit of a secret until you guys see the schedule, but I might be doing something. Yeah. But anyway, I'm a humble girl and everything. What are you up to? You never know. You'll know approximately in what's today? Thursday? A little teaser. I'll do a teaser. Wait, I need to think of it. It's oh, no teaser? Okay. Surprise us? Okay, fine. This is your teaser. That's your teaser. That's your teaser. That's your no, this is the teaser. Do you understand? I understand everything now. ... Also, I'm probably gonna be working on a super secret project in a moment. I got something pretty exciting back too. Ooh, I'm being so vague. Haha, it's so fun. But they're all exciting things, I promise. Exciting things are coming soon. Hey, but yeah, I had so much fun reading today, guys. That was really good. What does this rabbit have cooking? Besides from humble pie, nothing really. Sorry, I'm schnazzling in my chair. I'm excited. But yeah, okay. Did I make it during the end? Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you schnazzle back, I was doing some humble reading, so if you wanna listen, you just schnazz back, okay? Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, it's not a very long stream today. Also, I saw people asking if I was gonna play the what's it called? The genocide route of Undertale Yellow. And I'll be completely honest with you. I don't want to. It's gonna be too sad. Like with Undertale, like you get like I don't know, like you kind of do something new in every new area, but we like did so much with these characters. I don't think I'll be able. I can't emotionally handle it. We could watch a playthrough together though. Would you guys want to do that? Would that be boring? I could do a reaction stream on Twitch or something. I know Twitch is cringe, but like for watching a video, we can just have like an unlisted VOD for it or something. That could be pretty interesting. Yes, I am gonna play Ghoul. Yes, I am. Do I have it planned this week? Hang on. I think I have it sometime this week. If not, it will be at the beginning of next week. Oh, I don't. Yeah, I was planning to do it on Friday, and then I replaced it with Aussie Day stuff because I didn't realize. And I forgot to put it back in. Okay, I will definitely be doing that at the beginning of next week. Yeah. It could be cool. Well, at least I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can do some reaction shit at some point. We'll see. But you know, I will see you guys later. I don't know. I may do some drawing later. I'm not sure. To be honest. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. I'm gonna be playing some Majora's Mask, so that's gonna be really fun. Let me just put my little rabbit book away. Hang on. Okay, my new rabbit book's gone. Okay, well, anyway, I had a lot of fun, guys. Thank you for like listening to me read. I hope I did okay. I don't know. It's hard with these kind of old-timey kind of writing styles to read out loud, but I have lots of fun reading them anyway, and I've got the website as well, and I'll link the websites that I used today in the description for you. If you want like if you want to read any of them for yourselves. But if you enjoyed it, we can always do another stream like this where I read more, because there's lots of them. So yeah, I could do another one like that. Okay, so yeah, if you're interested in that, I'd be more than happy to do it. Because I'll show you actually. We can kind of keep our spot and then keep reading. But yeah, look how many there are. There's like so many. Oh, there's one with rabba in it. Okay, we'll definitely read the rabba one next time. Oh, there's one called Goose Girl. The Goose Girl. Okay, we have to read that. Next time, I'll read something next week, I promise. We'll read the Golden Glace. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to. Okay, it's a have to thing. Alright, so yeah, just schnaz, and I'll read it soon. Actually, you know what? Don't read it. Don't spoil it. Because I'll read it next time, I promise, okay? Alright, anyway, thank you so much for coming, guys. And I'll see you guys later, okay? Mwah. But you know, I got things to do, I've got places to see, so it's probably time for me to go, but you know, I'll see you all later, alright? So thank you so much everyone for coming. I had a really humble time and a humble sweet day, okay? And I love him, okay? I love him. I love you.
Put on my shoulders, I'm waiting for Champy to put on my shoulders.